He's the key piece.
We certainly wouldn't. And Renekton was played in the last game. Let's not look at the result. But it could happen. We could have the Renekton shaky hands.
That's what we're looking for.
Exactly. Here we are into the pick and ban, though, as already Shadow Isles being targeted. Kalista and Maokai both taken away. And Youngjae with a Rai Smite after a jungler was banned. You love to see it.
Yep, Skarner gone, obviously, because Morgan wants to play Renekton.
Yep.
Still, like we saw the Nautilus banned away in the last series. Senna's been a pretty high priority ban. Things like the Nidalee, still potentially, Varus even. So a lot of things still left open. And obviously, being the start of the season, teams will still be kind of feeling out what's working, what's not working, what is actually maintained its strength from scrims, and what was just fake data from scrims. That's the question. But Ashe is something that's been pretty high priority. Will be banned away here.
Yeah.
And now for man Brion, they're going to go for the Tristana, which with the, this pick isn't fresh, isn't new in the meta, but I feel like the 80 carry itemization changes have really just amped it up. When you get to the later game stages, it hits going up against the Tristana.
Yeah, certainly does. We saw Bulldog definitely demonstrating that in our previous series. And a pretty decent first pick. Still a lot of things up and available. I mean, Renekton Nidalee, you could actually just lock it in right now. And this is the interesting thing. It's Morgan versus versus Rascal. Rascal was the original Renekton guy.
Yeah.
He had at one point, I think, like double the amount of Renekton games of any other champion that he played. Absolutely absurd. And then Morgan kind of took over that mantle after Rascal sort of stopped playing the Crocodile quite as much. So pretty cool. It is going to be the Corki, though, locked in instead. We'll see where that is going to be going. Of course, Teddy or Yehu could both be playing it.
Yeah, and we'll see what you want to do. Typically, you want to go for an AP jungler when you have that AD mid. So looks like they're toying with the prospect of that. But could just end up going for the Vi in this situation. And it looks like they might go Vi Talia and put the Tristana bot lane, potentially.
Oh, the Renekton is locked in, denied from Rascal. So not going to be seeing the Nidalee Renekton. That will be denied away. And that might be Talia jungle.
Could even be Talia jungle, yeah. Probably not Tristana jungle. I'm going to go...
Tristana jungle might be a bridge too far.
Yeah, might be a bit too much. K'Sante into Renekton. Obviously going to be able to hold his own pretty well. Not as good setup as a Renekton, but okay setup for the Nidalee. And both teams just completely locking in their top sides. Not even a look towards the bot lane yet, although that Tristana could be a flex. The Corki could be a flex, in fact. We'll see how things shake out from here.
Oh, it could also be Nidalee flex, She has a heal.
True.
Just sit in a brush and press prime.
That qualifies her. But to be honest, modern era League of Legends, you don't even need a heal to be a support.
Yeah, it's very true.
Camille support. You just have to be willing to buy the support item and go bot lane.
Yeah, and don't do farming as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably not going to be the case, guys. Nidalee support, do not try that. It's not good. Leona going to be taken away. A little bit of a focus towards the support.
Yeah, interesting the Ziggs gets banned. We've seen really popular, it always used to be, but especially recently, Leona Ziggs has been so popular in the LPL. Makes a lot of sense if we saw, Leona open, Ziggs banned, or if one was picked than the other, but being banned by opposing sides in this situation. Obviously, maybe a bit concerned about the Ziggs and how it's just difficult to approach him with all his poke. Varus will come out as a ban from DRX here.
Yeah, one final ban for OK Brion. And let's see what it is going to be, whether it is going to be a little... Yeah, the Nautilus was a big priority ban in our previous series and has otherwise just been ignored.
It came through very late. Yeah, so I think in this situation, DRX could just pick an 80 carrier, but if you want to keep the Corki flex alive, maybe you go support and pick like a Nord. They're looking towards the Rel instead. I think the Warmog's changed now that Warmog's Rush is popular and it gives you extra movement speed out of combat. Very popular for the Rel. For the side of Brion, it depends what they want to run into this. They could take the Nautilus themselves. They could match like an Alistair into Rel is a matchup we often see. Looking towards the Kai'Sa, which I think does solidify the chance of that Nautilus, which will instantly come through. And chances are I expect this to be a Corki mid, so we'll see what Teddy wants to take in this situation.
Yeah, what is the AD carry of choice? Quite a few bans have come in.
I like Xayah.
It's not my favorite, but Xayah into Kai'Sa has been, something that dates back a really long way. Jace to consideration. That'll mean that the Corki's going into the hands of Teddy. Hovering for now, and there is the lock-in. So, Yehu going to be playing the Jace. Jace Nidalee, a lot of damage, a lot of poke as well. When you pair that with the Corki as well, I mean, it's not necessarily the same vibe of Corki as we used to see, but can still throw a rocket or two. So this could be a little bit of fun. A little bit of like double frontline with some poke options. DRX playing with a little bit of a different playstyle. Brion, they want to go in.
Yep, pretty simple. And if I'm going to be honest, when we're covering the 9th and 10th place team from last season, I think simple pays off. So
oh, yeah.
Playing poke comps can be very tentative. You know, if you get aggressed on by the enemy team, if you overstep, if you make some mistakes, you can just completely flounder, completely flop. So I think Brion have to work it out for them. And I think particularly the mid jungle is going to be pretty huge here. Jace, Nidalee, both picks that have a lot of early pressure, but really need a snowball if they want to hit their stride. So for them, fingers crossed they can get the ball rolling, whereas I think Bro is just the kind of C champion, kill champion angle.
Yeah, and we'll see whether it is going to work out. The keep it simple strategy is something that we have applauded for many a team, but like you very eloquently mentioned, 9th versus 10th last season, and so therefore, certainly a much better idea. But it is going to mean that that Taliyah jungle is going to be coming out, something that we haven't seen for quite a while, so very, very exciting to see Young Jay make his re-debut on a bit of a fun pick up against Sponge's Nidalee. Something that he has played quite a bit in Challenger, and of course, he is the man that has to do the magic damage, so needs to be hitting these spears. Let's do it. Let's jump into the rift for game number 1. All right. Fans very loud here in Lowell Park today. Pretty happy that the LCK is back once again for the summer season. We do have our full house. It's good to know. First spear connecting. That is 1 and 0.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. 1 and 1.
Yep.
We'll keep the tally as long as we can. I did make this promise previously. And I think it took me about 4 minutes to just completely forget to go for it. Oh no, 1 and 2.
It started so well.
Yeah, the hit rate, 33% is not great. But it's more like a scouting spear. Do you count the scouting spear as a miss?
I mean, you still another miss. I mean, that's the problem. That's really where you get into like the difficult aspect of it.
Yeah, into the weeds.
Because then you could just miss a spear and be like, no, it was a zoning spear. Oh,
yeah.
It's a scouting spear. Nah, I didn't mean to hit that.
As Morgan is going to walk out of the brush and find the Cassante as a bit of a Shurima off there towards the top side. Young Jay clearing out the Raptor camp first, heading over towards Scruggs, putting rocks down and stuff, having a good time. Tristana versus Jace. How does this one go?
I mean, I feel like early levels, if Karis can get on top of the Jace, you're pretty favored in that regard, and you can kind of just keep pushing with your passive from your E quite comfortably. I think the problem is by the time Jace Shock Blast starts really hitting, like it's a little bit later. Like Jace tends to thrive in situations where in top lane where he can kind of just free hit. But once Jace gets levels, a back, some mana behind him, that's where he can start to poke out the Tristana. So kind of looking towards that. Neither jungler has like fantastic setup. So I mean maybe Young Jay finds an angle in, but could just be an isolated 1v1.
He's also taken the Dark Harvest as well. Kind of love that. As we can see here, 7-2 is the win record here for Jace. Feels like it goes back to when Showmaker and Chovy were both playing a lot of mid-Jace, kind of catching teams unawares. But I might be wrong there as far as exactly how these matchups played out. Of course, you can throw out an arbitrary number. It doesn't necessarily mean everything about how things go.
Got to date those matchups.
A little bit. Like in our last one, we've now moved the Camille versus Renekton matchup to 4 and 21.
Yep.
In favor of Camille.
That's why the media voted for it. And
yeah?
Yeah.
There we go.
Like, oh man, this was such an unfavored matchup.
Saving the stats.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. As now Sponge is going to make his first little soiree into the enemy jungle. Not going to find too much there as Yehu is struggling.
Yeah, not having a good time so far. Definitely just needs to kind of try and survive, pick some farm, get some packs in. And I think it does come to a point in the mid game where the Jace really has a lot more threat than the Tristana with the burst, but right now, not really too much.
Nope, just looks like Karis having a pretty good time pushing this one out. Champion that he does have few reps on under his belt on the main stage. So good to see. Back to it again. Teleport used from Yehu as well. Get himself back to the lane, so no worries there at all. There's Morgan. It's just so good seeing him come back for the summer season, and he's on his Renekton, you know?
Do you think that's what he did in like the off time during MSI? Like he just went into solo queue and just played countless Renekton games?
Let's check.
That's just like, you know, he's like, oh man, LCK is done for spring for me. I'm gonna go play some more Renekton. You know, maybe that's his like, that's how he chills out. That's how he de-stresses.
That might be it. He has, this season, not played that many Renekton games on his main account anyway. He might have a secret one.
Might have a Renekton only account. Or
yeah.
Several.
He's played like 29 Skarner games, 33 Rumble games, 27 Twisted Fate games, but he's played 7 Renekton games. As in goes Karis. Does find a nice explosive charge, but there's to the skies from Yehu.
Pretty even trade, I think. Yehu got a slight edge there. Level 6 is really a big spike for Karis, so if you're looking for those all-ins. I think the main thing is, though, Karis has TP, so go for heavy trade, TP back in. You can see Yehu's trying to push the wave as fast as possible so he can get a reset as he expects the TP coming through. Yeah, I think level 6, obviously, Jace doesn't really get that much of an advantage from hitting level 6, whereas Karis having that explosive...
explosive charge or the Buster Shot?
Buster Shot, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
The Buster Shot makes a big difference to those all-ins.
Oh, certainly does. Also keeps you so much safer as well if there was going to be any sponge making his way over or anything like that. Even if a spear lands, you just catch him in the pounce and you don't have very much of a distance close. Still, we'll just have to see whether he can keep himself alive. So far, so good for Bro, as they are ahead by about 400 gold just by natural farming. Most of that being Morgan, up about, you know, 10 CS or so, doing pretty well. Not to mention Karis having a lead himself. Sponge going to try and even things out by taking a dragon early, but some grubs are going to be spawning, and Young Jay is very ready to pick those up as Shock Blast goes wide from Yehu here, and that is going to mean that Karis just still relentlessly pushes these waves in. Might be plate time coming up pretty soon as well for this Tristana. Taming the dragons.
Yeah, looking for an angle. I don't think that'll do enough.
Nah, oh, grubs are starting to go down. We could get some dots onto that turret, but it's not quite there yet. And it's been a while. Dread was the last one to play it, actually, on Nongshim a couple of years ago, 2022. And it was a victory.
Let's see if we can repeat that.
Yeah.
Chemtech Dragon picked up by DRX. Cloud next. So, likely going to be a pretty powerful soul coming through.
It's actually kind of crazy that Dread was the last one to play the Taliyah, picked up a win against the eventual world champions of that year in one of the worst years that Nongshim had. One of the rosters that really had one of the toughest times.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot that goes into that particular, you know, it's been 670 odd days.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah, certainly.
And I think so far, Youngjae doing pretty well. Actually up in farm compared to Sponge. And you know, we've seen a return of these more farm-focused junglers. Part of it...
Oh. All right, I don't know about that one, Karis. Sort of not winning out.
Yeah.
As there is a cannon, at least, for him to take as a consolation prize. And, explosive charge evens out the trade.
Part of it has been the Faded Ashes that has come into the game, obviously making these AP junglers have an easier time clearing through the jungle, and a lot of momentum there. But also they buffed the camp XP after MSI, so that's why even though Nidalee doesn't build Faded Ashes early on, she's still being seen so much just because these momentum-based junglers are having a far better time. So the fact that Youngjae has picked this Taliyah into the Nidalee that we've seen such a high prio on, has managed to get a lead.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty.
Definitely a good spot.
Pathing around quite well. Wants to be able to get in amongst it, start getting a few of these Dark Harvest stacks online. But I have a feeling that he will not have to wait too much longer before he can get some of these lanes in order, get stuff done, because Morgan in a great spot, has phenomenal setup. As we know, that's what Renekton is picked for in a lot of cases. The Shock Blast dodged very nicely, utilizing the walk technique once again.
Yeah, I feel like the lane would be going very differently if like the last 3 Shock Blasts had connected.
Yeah, or like any one of these Shock Blasts had to connect.
Yeah.
It's been a rough time for the editor thus far. And you
It's a zoning shock blast. It's
Indeed.
a scouting shock blast.
Ah, scouting shock blast. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was, but we'll give him benefit of the doubt.
He was like, wait, what if Young Jay's behind Karis right now? I'll find out.
Rascal dashes away, but still gets caught by the ruthless Predator. You can see Morgan able to win out on another trade here. Does have his Bramble Vest completed, so that's going to help him.
Does have a pretty big lead as well. Young Jay actually looking for an opportunity here.
Oh, this ward goes over the wall, and it's immediately turned off as well. This means that Rascal, not a lot of information.
You know, it's typically hard to dive a Cassante, but between the Renekton and the Talia, they do a pretty good job of it, so Rascal could be in real trouble here.
Well, he's going to try and catch this wave. And there it is. There's the flash forward. He could not react in time, and first blood goes to the Lord.
So well played by Morgan. Zero opportunity for Cassante to do Cassante things, try and outplay. The setup was there, the setup was good. And look at the lead in this top lane right now.
Oh
Kill in the pocket
God.
of Morgan. But a 33 CS lead as well, and he's picking up plates. This top lane is quickly going out of control.
This is, it's absolutely awful. It's all compounded as well by the wave state when he died. Wave crashes in, and then he's taken out, and he doesn't have his teleport back off cooldown again.
Look at Morgan's items, by the way.
Oh, just a Black Cleaver, okay.
Yeah, just off the bat. So all that armor Rascal's planning to build.
And Black Cleaver got buffed as well, right?
Yeah, it's in a pretty good spot.
Oh my God, okay. Well, yeah, 6% each time at 10 minutes for the Crocodile.
Well, okay, here's my counterpoint.
All right, go.
Rascal hasn't bought much armor yet, so...
And he doesn't have many levels yet.
Yeah, so you're not...
So it doesn't even have much base armor, yeah.
No.
I'm right there with you, picking up what you're putting down. As Pleta is also putting himself down. Primal Surge comes out from Sponge to keep him alive. It should mean a bit of an evening out when it comes to these grubs. First one going to go down here as Bro moving on over. They want to get at least a couple of these. They want to be able to get some of the buffs. So Young Jay coming on over. Spears not quite connecting there as I've lost the tally entirely.
He had one job.
Yeah, I know. It was very early. It was very early that I stopped counting as well, which is very sad. It looks like it should just be 3 apiece. As DRX do hold control.
Yeah, Dragon has 30 seconds, so I think the move from Bro, you can see they pushed mid in, could maybe move down towards that bot lane and just grab the Dragon on spawn and secure that.
So far, Bro looking pretty cool, calm, and collected. I think a good time, utilizing that composition very nicely as well.
They're looking pretty okay, bro.
Yeah, I would say so. And a Weaver's Wall coming on in as well, as you can see. Young Jay starting this one up. Polu tanking the turret. Flash out from Yehu, though. And now Polu finds himself somewhat isolated. Does have an anchor to get him out of there. But that was a dive that was more optimistic than it could have otherwise been. But we like this. This is Bro making proactive moves. Whether they're successful or not, we do not care. They're just doing things.
Proactive?
Oh, yes. Rady Broactive. Right?
Yeah, Rady Proactive is exactly what they're being right now. DRX being the ones to start the Dragon. I'm looking for some Rady Proactivity.
Well, Teddy's going to try and turn this one onto Samba. It was looking okay for the Bro AD carry for a little while, but it didn't quite work out. As speaking of not working out, Sponge going to get flashed away from. So therefore, no more Samba's flash as, okay, here we go. Pleta getting closed in on. He survives for so incredibly long. As now Teddy trying to get some work done here. Somehow, the Nautilus makes it out to safety, but that is going to be a Drake secured by DRX. Still killless so far in this game, but they're doing okay on the objectives.
Yeah, unfortunately, no real follow-up there for Pleta's engage, but the 3-man CC chain forces Bro away, and DRX managed to get the Dragon. And it is a Hextech Soul. And if you have a Nidalee, a Corki, and a Jace and a Hextech Soul, I'm pretty sure that's just a 1 game.
Yeah, I would say so. This is getting a little bit scary. Let's have a look at... Whoa, we're going really far back in time. As the flash forward, the chain CC, gloriously done. Morgan and Young Jay already with that synergy built up. This was... Okay, Samba tried to turn it, I think. Hits a Void Seeker and then decides it's Killer Instinct time.
That is a thing you can do.
Yep.
Doesn't quite manage to get it, and then it's a nice time on the flash. You kind of know Nidalee's going to flash for the combo, so Samba playing that well. And then here's the engage. And I think just unfortunately Teddy has no rockets. Sponge does throw a spear. Yehu didn't have the gate as well for Empowered Shock Blast, and Rascal was TPing in. But it got them the Dragon. So, you know, it ticks a box for me. Job done.
Yeah, it was not too bad. It was bit of a weird fight because it did look like such a great engage from Pleta, but then there just wasn't really too much to go with it.
It was a scouting engage.
Yeah, zoning engage.
Yeah, zoning, yeah.
There we go.
Terminology changes your perception of a play.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
So really beautiful zoning Magnet Storm there from Pleta. Unfortunately, when you do a zoning Magnet Storm, oftentimes you end up in the death chamber, so it is quite a walk to get back from it. But certainly they were zoned afterwards.
Yep.
And DRX managed to get themselves a couple of dragons. 3 minutes on the next one. As Hook, max range here from Polo, finds the combo. And Killer Instinct is exactly that. That is such a dead Nidalee. Sponge just going to be taken off the Rift, and that means no chance at contesting this Rift Herald. Bro, they're finding some bromentum.
You know, I feel like something we've seen quite a bit so far this season is Vi Talia be really strong. I'm saying this on day 2, but Vi Talia, really hard combo to deal with. This is like another flavor of that with Talia jungle and Nautilus support.
Maybe it's just
a similar
Talia.
concept.
Maybe Talia.
Talia.
Some Talia.
Talia and reliable CC.
Yeah.
That's the combo. That's all you need.
Well, we got a teleport coming in towards this bottom side of the map, and everyone is closing in. DRX, they want to get a kill, and they want to get a kill now, but Morgan is just dodging everything. Cleans up the minion wave. They cannot do anything right here.
You say I don't think he dodged that shock blast.
He dodged the shock blast.
No, I don't think he dodged the shock blast.
He was moving and the shock blast missed. Okay.
Okay, whatever you say.
It's about the mind games. You know, it's whatever he was doing. It was a dodge, even if he didn't even move.
I think perhaps he just expected Morgan to instinctively dash to the right, and obviously Morgan, he's made of sterner stuff.
So far, the sterner stuff is ringing true, and they will be able to grab a charge here from Shelly. Chunks out this outer turret in mid lane quite a lot. And my God, look at this gold lead. It's the biggest lead we've had all day.
Yep.
And we saw game 1 of No Freaks versus KT. That was not close.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just going to be on this Renekton. I think most likely. I'd love to see exactly how much, but the fact that he just got all the plate gold and that kill.
Yeah, it's first blood, plate gold, and yeah, it is it's pretty rich. And only 4% jungle proximity as well, I'll have you know.
Yep. I mean, the thing is he flashed in for that stun so quickly, didn't need much more than that.
Yeah. Certainly a big benefactor, though, of this whole situation. DRX, all they really have to their name is these couple of dragons that if they're able to get, you know, a Hextech Drake, if they're able to get Soul Point, that is very valuable given the high power of Hextech Soul. But it is still feeling a little bit worrying because that's going to take a while to get to, and Bro are in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, and the problem is they really need to set up for these objectives. Like, they're not just a team who are like, oh, enemy's doing dragon, let's just run in and engage. They need to lay down the poke, they need to set up.
Ooh, Spear going to miss here as Weaver's Wall does get Young Jay out of there. Pleta diving forward. Sidestep from Polo is quite nice. DRX not going to be overcommitting or anything like that.
Yeah, I think Bro not ready to go for this or respond because Sambed moved up towards top side. We now have Morgan moving down. He's going to have TP advantage as a result. He walked down. Doesn't have to teleport on both teams. Setting up for a fight.
Yep. As Polo going to be able to slow them down as he makes his way out. Nicely done. As Morgan looking for his opportunity. Control Ward goes in. Spear connects. That is great use of the W from Rascal to avoid the CC. As Karis gets hit by a dragon, and he does have an appropriate skin for that, for being okay after dragon aggro. The dragon is now started, and DRX, this is Soul Point. Bro probably want to fight for this one, but it's down to 50%, and they haven't pulled the trigger just yet. Morgan now making his way over. Dominus at the ready has been popped. There's the combo! Thrown into the blender as Rascal. It is going to be Soul Point, but can DRX make it out? The answer is yes, because they've already managed to kill Karis, and Morgan is just lumbering towards them. Sponge trying to make his way out. He's not going to be able to do so, but the rest of DRX pounce on the stragglers and take down Polo, and even trade, and they get the Drake, and they're this far behind.
Absolute win for DRX. They managed to pull off the heist, and when it looks like they might be in a bit of trouble in the back end, they trade even. So everything they wanted and more in this situation. Still down in gold, but one dragon away from Hextech Soul. They're in a much better spot than you would expect with a 5,000 gold deficit.
Yeah, and we were talking about this in the last series as well. The third dragon is really important because, like you were saying, the Baron's not up yet, so they don't have to play that mind game, and they can control where all of the attention is being placed, the vision is being placed as this game goes on. Fleta with a fantastic engage here.
So good. Catches out the Tristana immediately, and Tristana in these scrappy fights is the reset potential, is the ability to take it from a couple of kills to a full ace, immediately takes out that Tristana, and yeah, there's the cleanup on the back end. Sponge goes down, as does Polu, who lost that flash earlier. And yeah, game in a pretty stable spot. And the thing is, if DRX want, they're no longer in a rush. You know, they can deny Baron, stop that from happening. But if they see a situation where Dragon's a little bit rough, maybe they don't get control of the area, they have so much time, you know?
Yeah.
They can give over 2 Dragons and still be 1 away, and bro, not be close.
It's really nice. That being said, they still have a 5,000 gold hill to climb, and Rascal is still struggling somewhat in this matchup versus Morgan.
Don't get
like
me
building
wrong.
all of this extra armor. He's like, Morgan's like,
yeah.
oh, you're playing right into my hands.
You're giving this Black Cleaver so much value.
And you can't even really fault it. It's kind of the right idea, especially against Karis and Sambo, although Sambo, a little bit of magic damage in the build. Now Polu just getting some vision down. Crashdown is going to be what he receives, though. A Seismic Shove doesn't quite do too much, as both of the supports will be taken out. Karis trying to land some shots, vision being cleared left, right, and center.
You know,
Morgan
Letta
clears
said,
out mini waves.
you know what he had in his ball about better treatment for supports?
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think you get it now.
Yeah, I do. I understand, but it's not really something that's happening.
No, it's not.
We can understand the plight. The plight is now written clear as day.
We appreciate the cause.
Indeed. At least Polu managed to get a kill. Platter, it is just sadness as far as the kill score is concerned. But some of these engages have certainly been good, so we'll see whether DRX can utilize that as this game goes on. The thing that's really that's tough is what we were talking about earlier on, and that's ease of execution for these compositions. As the game goes on, Bro just gets to just walk at them and try to do buttons, right? That's what their composition wants to do. They can also position Samver in mid-wave and then Killer Instincts in whenever any sort of fight happens around Baron or Dragon. The setup is quite comfortable. DRX do need to play the finesse game a little more with the comp that they've put together. Yeah,
especially they go on this Corki build. It's not going to be as much reliable DPS compared to like a Kai'Sa Tristana in the composition as a whole, but especially like the Corki build is this more lethality-focused sort of angle. So if it just ends up going front to back, even though like Cassante, Rel are really tanky, I could see Bro just winning out in that regard. I mean, even the Talia as well is a very high DPS champion, so DRX definitely need to carefully approach these fights and think about what's going to give them the best angle. It is now a minute till Dragon, and Bro still have a significant lead. 6K actually now they've managed to reach. And ultimately, they have to deny this Dragon, and every Dragon going forwards and stop this Soul from going over to DRX. DRX could even posture towards Baron.
Yeah.
If Bro overcommit on the Dragon, no loss for DRX if they don't get it. But trading a Dragon for Baron, DRX will take that any day of the week.
And right now, Bro have a lot of vision around the Dragon. So that sort of inherent pressure that DRX have has been mitigated somewhat because Bro knows that they're not there. So they can turn their eyes towards this Baron, try and get stuff done in side lanes, which is exactly what Morgan has been doing, moving ahead by about 50 CS. Shrinking just a little bit, but he almost has GA online. It's going to be item number 3.
Yeah, I'll say one thing is that levels are pretty close across the board. Young Jay has a level advantage which no one else does. Normally with a gold lead this big, you'd expect to see like level advantages as well, but that hasn't really come to fruition, so...
Yeah, Rascal
DRX
also being
okay.
same level as Morgan, kind of huge, especially when he's going to be a lot more value in team fights as he is Cassante. And this is just sole point, and they were able to walk in and start it.
Yeah. Even if DRX lose this fight, if they get the Dragon, it's still massive.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
the focus right now. So, Bro, you need to start the fight before the Dragon gets low.
Well, there's the hook from Polu, but they don't commit onto it. And now Morgan off to the side. Weaver's Wall comes in. Polu going to be moved so far. It's actually a very weird series of events there as the Spear's not going to connect. And DRX, they don't need to hyper-commit towards this one. As Teddy taking a little bit of damage from the poke. There's the hook, the Seismic Shove, and the tank is just eliminated. Polu taken down in an instant as well. Don't know about that one, as they do have at least a 4v4 on their hands. But I think the Cassante was a little bit more value. And now Morgan, no Dominus this time. Sponge looking for hooks, looking for a steal. Remember, this is still huge. If they're able to get in there, there is the engage from Pleta, but the dive forward from Morgan. He gets it, he steals it! Oh, it looks so close to perfectly played from Bro, but it doesn't work out. Zamva's still going to be able to execute the Corki. And Yehu trying to run away, a double kill now for this Kai'Sa, but I think Yehu's going to be able to make it out. That slow, just ridiculous. You saw it employed just there. And DRX, they get what they were looking for, but they may lose the Baron now.
They may lose the Baron. The gold lead is going to balloon to an even more substantial level, but it's Hextech Soul, the strongest in the game, on a composition who can utilize it so well, and DRX are not done. They're coming over to contest.
They're looking to try and get it. This is not long. Yeah, it's dead. So
zoning.
Not going to be out of a zoning teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Testing the waters. This is normally engaging onto the tank is bad news, and also like Polu really felt himself and then evaporated.
To do the R flash thing, but the Cassante died, and I think he was a bit late on it, so he didn't get the mechanic there. Morgan does exactly what he should, trying to zone out the Nidalee. Pleta trying to zone out the rest of the team on the other side, but we managed to see the secure for DRX. Great job by Sponge, and then that's slow. You see it come through, and you're like, oh, that's why. This Drake is worth throwing away so much gold to Bro, giving them Baron. Yeah, that buff is permanent. Now DRX, if they can avoid losing too much in the next 2 minutes, they're in a pretty solid spot. The main thing is, though, going into the Elder Dragon, they are going to be at a big gold deficit.
Yeah, they lost everything in order to get this soul. And they have fantastic champions and a composition that utilizes it so extraordinarily well. Because you can keep them at bay, right? Kiting has become so much easier now with the fact that they have this soul. But 8,000 gold, that's a big number.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And the one thing I will say is that, for example, on Rascal,
oh god,
it's not as big of an issue for a champion like Asante to be down a gold, but Nidalee is down a whole item compared to Talia.
And it's a pretty good item, too.
And Nidalee is not very, like, you're basically going to be a heal bot.
Yeah.
And a smite bot, I guess. That's your job as Sponge.
And he's nailed it so far.
He's done it. He's done what he needed to do, but...
I see 4 smites at the top of the screen. But yeah, I don't think that Nidalee's ever been one of these champions touted for her late game power. Unless you are ahead, which is what you're supposed to be, and it's not quite where Sponge is.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think Young Jay also just having a day out in his Bro debut. His day Bro.
You know what? If you combine Sponge's smites with Young Jay's everything else, what a jungler.
That's an incredible jungler right there.
Yeah,
oh, man.
You know, you look at the gold across the team, and you see how Teddy's actually keeping up with the carries on Bro, and you think, this is Teddy in a nutshell, you know?
Yeah.
Can he just get enough farm, be enough of a threat? Can he carry? Right now, he's gone for the rapid fire cadence, has that ranged auto, but doesn't have the Infinity Edge, and unlikely to have it before the Elder, which is a bit of a hit.
It's kind of crazy that nothing has changed since like 2017. The Teddy teams, the question is always, can Teddy carry?
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
You know, this is such a weird situation, because normally, like, it's so hard to say that taking the Hextech Soul was bad, and I won't say it. Taking the Hextech Soul was good for DRX, but it massively sped up the Elder.
Yeah.
So...
No, but why were they able to take the Hextech Soul? Because Sponge's smites are the best.
Yeah.
What do you need
well, that's true.
predominantly for killing the Hextech, the Elder Drake?
It's a 10k gold deficit.
Yeah, but is it a 10k smite deficit? I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means, but it's provocative. It gets some people going.
It certainly does. I'm going. I'm ready to go.
I feel like all the rules of League of Legends are kind of out the window on this one. It's a hard one to scope out.
Well, we've almost got Void stuff done for Zamva. We've got the Guardian Angel there for Morgan. He's ready to go in. Zhonya's has been ready for a while. Karis almost has item number 4. He's got Lord Doms. I mean, man, like, this is getting to some pretty high damage territory.
You know, I feel like some teams would appreciate if there was an item that cost 3k gold and it did nothing, but it just doubled the damage of your smite, or gave you like auto smite.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Young Jay would definitely have bought that, without a doubt.
Yep. Just give up and buy that item
Yeah.
if you're not having a great time in the jungle. I think that's beautiful.
Definitely would take the thrill of some of these
We should talk to David Turley about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's open.
I'm sure he's willing to talk about it.
I'll just goofy suggestions we make while casting Bro DRX. Yeah, that's where the good stuff comes from.
I've definitely had some of my more goofy conversations with Freak, so I think that he'd be into it. He would definitely never implement any of it.
Oh yeah.
But I think he'd love to have the conversation.
Oh, for sure.
Sponge hopping over that wall, and Bro with a fair bit of control around this dragon area. There is about a 30-second stagger as well between the Dragon and the Baron. Pretty optimal for the team with a lead.
Yeah, and once again, this isn't a dragon you can give up. No. I feel like, you know, actually, I said this, DRX could give up dragons. It would be okay. This one, no, not so okay. They are going to push mid and try and pull Bro over. The AoE slow, so much value, he can see it already.
Yeah, this is nutty. He can see it all as the third Q not going to connect. And neither is that Void Seeker. All right, Rascal gonna face check. There's the hook. Once again, it's the seismic shove, but this time only down to 50%. Karis also suffering a very similar fate as Polu. Down very low also. Some heals starting to come in now as a hook once again. Polu doesn't exactly have the friends that are quite there, but still it's a beautiful use of the seismic shove from Youngjae. Polu ready once again with another hook. All right, Rascal dashing towards the Merc Wolves.
I feel like DRX have the edge here. They're 9,000 gold down, and I feel like they have the edge here.
Yeah, and it's the poke. It's the fact that they cannot get in there, and you know Renekton's so incredibly kiteable just in general. Morgan just can't seem to really find an angle.
Oh, there he's
and now Polu, he's in once again. Morgan once again slowed down. He flashes though. That's going to get him on top. But they deny the kill. He's down to his GA. Rascal finally is dead. Pletter taken out as well. And Yahoo thrown into the blender. That is going to be it as Bro find their team fight. And Karis with the buster shot will secure the ace.
They managed to come through. The gold lead was too much to overcome. They get a solid
4-0, 11, 100% kill contribution from Youngjae.
Yeah.
The best loan I have ever seen. The interest rate, absolutely absurd.
Like, this is the best loan we've ever seen in the LCK.
That is a savings bank right there. Thank you so much, OK Bro, for showing us how a loan is supposed to work. It makes so much sense. They're going to take down the Nexus turrets, and despite there being a Hextech Soul on the enemy team, that does not stop your Nexus from giving 50 gold to Bro.
Such a crazy... I've never seen a game with such a goal deficit feel on such a knife's
Yeah.
edge. It felt close, but Bro clutched at the end. They got on top of Teddy. He didn't die immediately, but he was forced out the fight, and the cleanup came through. And you know, despite the Dragons being secured, but despite DRX putting up a good fight, the Elder fight was won by Bro, and that's all they needed.
Yeah, and I actually feel like Bro didn't lose a single team fight in that game, but it didn't feel like that. I think that's the truth of what happened.
Yeah, they had
they had that very even fight.
Yeah.
That
And
was a win for DRX in theory because they were the team that was behind.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you never had Bro walking away without, you know, control of the map.
Yeah.
It was their control throughout the entirety of the game, and I think so much of that comes down to Youngjae.
We'll look at the goal graph, and if you just look at that, you'll go, wow, this was so one-sided.
Yeah,
so
clean.
Smooth.
Uh-huh.
And then you look at the Dragons and be like, huh, how did this happen?
Well, thankfully, we've got the guys over at the space. They will tell us exactly how it happened. As, yeah, Teddy doing a lot of damage, but none of it was really effective damage, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was looking pretty good until the engage, you know? And fortunately, Nautilus, Renekton, you just run at them, pressure buttons, and they get CC'd. And that worked.
It was pretty good. And I'm still just spooked by the fact that Youngjae makes his Bro debut and 4-0-11 on a Talia.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff from the man loaned over from the Kwangdong Freaks. So it's now time for us to take a short break. When we get back, it's the space. Then game number 2. See you there.
나올게 이거.
아직.
내 뒷각 좋은데 이거 조금씩 나와.
지금 천천히 가보자.
나올게 이거.
가자.
나올게.
야, 코르게. 딜라인 날라가.
포르키 높여.
야, 가인이야. 나한타 이거. 삼바. 미드 삼바.
This win, and we'll swap out the top laners, hopefully get some better results there. I will say though, I think, as was said in the desk, you should be changing up the draft significantly. Playing that sort of nuanced poke comp that requires finesse, forget about that, right?
Yep.
Platter has proven time and time again, you stick him on an engaged champion, and he will make things happen. And you saw him do that last game. He just had no follow-up. So pick a composition with follow-up that likes having your support engage, and boom, there you go.
It's looking pretty good. Once again, going to be the Skarner ban by the bros. They do not want to see the Scorpion. Very strong. Haven't actually seen it all day today. I was hoping to have a little bit of an opportunity to commentate the Scorpion, but just no chance. And final ban to come through from DRX after denying the Tristana that has been all day. Probably the most powerful pick, I guess. One of the things that we've seen a lot of teams drafting around so far.
Like Tristana and Talia have really just been having a lot of presence. We're only second day, but so far they've been really showing up. Setting a band and Kalista. Ashe still open and available right now, which could be picked up. See if they opt to go for that as an early pickup, but instead actually going for that Renekton. They know what Morgan wants and they won't give it to him.
This blows my mind though. Why sub out Rascal and then pick his historically best champion? That's so, I don't know, that's bizarre. Makes me upset.
Well, that's because you're assuming it's a Renekton top lane.
Oh, it is though.
It is definitely.
Yeah.
Top lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did get me for a second.
I feel like if I'm okay, Brion, I would go like, I mean, Ashe is obviously something you can take. Talia as well. Tristana's off the map. You've just shown that you can flex the Talia, so why wouldn't you pick it up?
Yeah.
How is Renekton supposed to play into Talia Ashe? They're actually...
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it, Young Jay.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Chronicles suffered enough. Oh, no. Oh, they're denying the Renekton Nidalee. That's what they're doing.
Talia Vi right now.
Yeah, so just do it.
If Nidalee ever walks up to you, just kill her.
Yeah.
Or you could even go Talia Nautilus if you wanted.
I mean, that being said, with an Ashe, the Nidalee does make a little bit more sense, I guess, because you do have single target setup. But there is that Talia and a Jhin to come through as well.
Perhaps they want to keep the flex of the Talia alive. But regardless, they will end up going for the Jhin. We've seen it rise in priority a decent amount. We've seen a game earlier today where it really popped off. So, and a lot of squishies so far on the side of OK Bro. A lot of good targets for Jhin to hit. Now, go in the second rotation. Already seen the top lane. Honestly, if I am Brion, just ban Vi Nautilus unless you plan to pick Nautilus yourself.
I think Nautilus is something you leave up and pick, absolutely. But I think the Vi definitely has to go, and it is going to go. They're not trusting that Sponge is going to be on the Talia himself.
I imagine Brion will want to take top on 4 because Renekton's already picked and cannot pick support.
Yeah.
So I think you ban Nautilus, and then you could even have a scenario where you end up playing something like the Seraphine on 5 if you keep your options open.
Yeah, if there's no Blitzcrank or something like that that does come out, this is something that we saw.
And if they pick Blitzcrank,
earlier,
then you can just take something like Alistar into it.
True. I do like this a lot. Taking their time. K'Sante going to be the ban away here, so Morgan not going to be hopping on that one. Not going to be their answer to the Renekton. And Yone going to be the takeaway. That's perplexing. That is giving respect to the fact that Sponge could be playing the Talia himself.
Yeah.
Certainly feeling like a true flex, this Talia pick. As the Jack's going to be taken away from Morgan, one of his previous favorites. And Leona just going to be locked in.
Yeah, they'll just commit to that. They want some lockdown for the Nidalee to connect the spears. And now Platter has his choice of what he wants to take. I think I like the Nautilus just because of how it synergizes with the Talia. You can play the matchup pretty well until Leona. You can disengage it from an E, but he opts to go for the Rel. He had a good game on it last time, so fair enough. And now for their pick to kind of reveal where the Talia is going. And it looks like they might go for this way. They will lock that in. So 8 mages in the mid and jungle. And a bit of an artillery composition from DRX.
Udyr.
We have not seen that for a fair bit.
Last time we saw it, it also made us feel a bit sad.
But I will say, pretty solid in terms of like tankiness. I think Jin's going to struggle to cut through it, but there's also a Talia, and there is a Hui as well, who undoubtedly be building burn items. So I'm not really convinced on this composition from Brion. I do know at least that the early laning phase for Morgan will be strong in the top lane, so hopefully Young Jay can capitalize on that, and both bot and top have good setup for him to land some spears. Young Jay had a great game 1, needs to have a good game 2, because haven't really been inspired by the Nidalee performance from last game.
Certainly have not. As we do have the coaches taking a bow, we do have to let you know what is on the line. There is only one bro leader across all of the LCK for predictions, and it's Coco.
Wow.
He's on the cast right now, and we'll just have to see whether he is going to be the one that is rewarded, or whether DRX can bring us to a game 3 and save everybody else's predictions.
Yeah, he'd want to pull a Mao.
Yeah,
This one.
exactly. He could actually even the score with Mao, perhaps,
Yeah.
if the Korean side thought as we did about the KT versus D+ matchup. But this is what you've got on the side of DRX, and the Talia was so incredibly powerful in game number 1. It is now something in the hands of DRX instead of OK Man Brion. That could be the difference maker here. We'll see whether Sponge can have a Young Jay-esque performance. And they're hoping that Young Jay has a Sponge-esque performance on the Nidalee. Oh dear. Didn't quite work out, but this time around going to be a different story. Morgan going to try to be that brick wall in front of his team, but a very similar idea with how this composition works to what DRX had last time around. See how it goes. Hop into the Rift for game 2.
세관사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. And we see that everything is kind of switched, right? We've got DRX with a very similar composition to what we saw coming out of Bro in game 1, except in the mid lane, instead of a Tristana, it's a Hui. And we also have a slightly different bottom lane here as well, as Young Jay going to find Sponge. This little trap is very cute. Crashdown comes in as Morgan in so much trouble, and he's got Ghost. He doesn't have Flash, he can't get out. That is First Blood set up beautifully by DRX.
So good, and it's just like, you can't resist. You're an Udyr, level 1. You see someone, you're walking up, you're doing your little shaking side to side, and yeah, just a great bait by DRX. Read that one very well, which is kind of surprising considering we haven't seen Udyr in a decent amount of time.
Yeah, when we saw him in at MSI, it was not our favorite thing.
Yeah.
Didn't feel great.
Yeah, and his popularity fell off really hard in spring towards the later end. And yeah, we get Sponge starting off with an early Amp Tome, so bit of extra momentum for the jungle clear, definitely nice.
Yep. See Apollo and Sambo waiting in that brush, but Teddy and Pleta taking control pretty comfortably here. Still, the wave should be something that Bro should have some control over based on what we can see here.
Ooh.
As we check out the replay once again, this was what Morgan could see. He was like, yeah,
Morgan's point
gone in.
That's so brutal.
Yeah.
간다.
I think he's just like, I'm dead, I'm dead.
And he was right.
Yeah.
I do see Bro's bot lane have level 2 first. They also actually cleared a ward out that DRX plays, so they changed duo minion XP slightly. We saw this the other day in Challengers. So actually getting the XP from a ward can level you up early when it comes to minions. So have to be a little bit cautious about that. If you place the ward and it gets swept immediately, you could put yourself in a deficit. Don't think they would have got level 2 anyway, but we see bot and top both having quite a bit of pressure for the side of Bro so far.
Well, Sponge saw that ward die, decides to make the Brambleback a little bit upset, and is going to move away. I wonder whether that is going to be something, part of a strategy or something like that, as Morgan taking a fair bit of damage, and in fact, a very late shield. It's going to be a little bit sad there, but it is Udyr, so if his health bar goes down, it doesn't matter as much in a lot of cases.
I like how
be spotted.
Sponge backed away from the red. He's like, oh, it's warded. I don't want to be seen doing this. Unlucky. You're going to get seen doing that.
This is another one of our matchup graphics, Ox, and every time we bring one of these up, it does dictate the truth.
Well, no,
So I guess congratulations.
the Renekton Camille, the Camille one.
Yeah, and she was 20-4.
Oh yeah, true.
So
I forgot it was that way. That's crazy as well. Well, let's see. Let's see if it rings true once again.
Oh, I think it's already been proven. It would be completely crazy for anything to buck the trend. We're not trend buckers over here. That's not what we do. As Pleta, he is looking to try and start this one off. A bit of damage onto him, though. Tries to eat as much of it with the Aftershock as he can. It does kind of work out.
Yeah, you can see he was potentially looking for Samber there, but Polo interrupts. Ends up being a roughly even trade between them.
Yeah, kind of liking how Polo's been playing here. Just lying in wait. Finds the Zenith Blade here. And Pleta lit on fire and is forced to flash away. Teddy trying to offer what he can back, but you see, Pleta can't even really tank these volleys with a health bar that low.
Yeah, does have the health pots ticking, so it should be okay overall. But nice advantage just to pick up that flash. Obviously, Pleta gets his own advantage of getting Hex Flash unlocked.
Oh, true.
But definitely advantage for Bro overall.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Polo doesn't quite have his Hex Flash, Hex Flash backup just yet. Hopefully that comes off cooldown as soon as possible. I think he just needs to press F in order to bring that one off cooldown, or D, as it were. But Karis with a wave pushed towards Yehu, and Yehu with all of his abilities that he can press. He's going to be able to clear that one up just fine.
Morgan wasn't, he might have been later lane, he wasn't down sums, but he is not having a good time in this top lane matchup so far.
No. He is...
I would have thought if you're going to play Udyr into Renekton, you would have you'd hope you'd be winning early. That's kind of like my criteria.
And also, he's the Renekton guy. You'd hope that he'd know which matchups aren't great for the Renekton.
Maybe Morgan's just like, dude, this champ's unbeatable. That's why I always pick it.
Yeah. Just wins in every case.
Yeah.
And so he picked Udyr so that he can be so much more relevant later.
Yeah.
Right, guys?
Yeah. And as we have seen from Bro, they've, you know, they do win a lot with Renekton, obviously. Yeah.
So far, it is working. They haven't lost yet. Although that first blood going over, maybe that is what's stuck in Morgan's head. You know, having fallen down. Although didn't miss anything in the early stages and is currently very even on farm. Pleta just has a look at what's going on.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
They're not doing Dragon.
They are not.
And Sponge is getting a good AoE down. Already has the Faded Ashes, so doing good damage to the Grubs. Should be getting all 3 of those.
Yep, gets all of those, but the Dragon is now going to be started by Bro, their first Drake that isn't an Elder that they're able to pick up.
Well, they didn't even get the Elder.
Oh, right, they didn't. So their first Dragon of Summer. They are at least going to be able to collect that, so not all of the neutrals going over to DRX at this point in time. And Karis, as you can see here, farming out very evenly between these two.
Gone for the early Hex Drinker, which is pretty high value against Talia Wei, but Corki is a very even, new Corki, old Corki. Those item spikes make such a big difference, and it will delay them a fair bit, so...
I really like that we've got like Infinity Edge Trinity Force back, because that was one of my favorites when it comes to item spikes, you know?
Yeah, I think that will be the build this time, because it's fleet footwork. You know, normally with the Assassin build, the opportunity, you see Halo Blades.
Well, Spear going to miss here as Karis taking a lot of damage. There is the ultimate, but it's not going to quite finish him off.
Hex
still, just fine.
Didn't really get much value from it there, I won't lie. I guess the magic resist is something at least. Young J just kind of comes in, heals Karis, and leaves. His job here is done.
Well, you can see it was an even trade, and they pressed a bunch of buttons. They get Yehu's ultimate, so that's cool. No more spiraling despairs. As Arrow sails by majestically.
Wait, imagine if it proc the scrying.
That would be pretty fun. Maybe we should ask for a
we should
change.
pitch this. We need to have a real sit down with Freak, and pitch all our great ideas.
And he's going to listen to us and be really annoyed that we wasted his time, I think is probably what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a busy man. He's got better things to do.
Oh, that's perfect. Anyway, Frog and Morgan with some control back here in this lane. You can see now that he has the Bramble Vest, feeling a bunch better when it comes to trades with the Renekton. And Bro do have, you know, waves in good positions and things like that. DRX holding their own, most definitely. And 500 gold certainly benefited from the first blood that they already managed to pick up.
That has lost access to his Hex Flash right now, but does have his ultimate available.
And
regular Flash, I guess.
I'm starting to think that maybe the Nidalee pickup is always just to deny things like Renekton Nidalee. And so maybe it's like you're taking an L to save the rest of your team by picking away Nidalee in these positions. That's the reasoning that we have
say that, but
for Chronically.
We saw
you know?
Nidalee first picked yesterday instead of Skarner.
Oh, stop
and then it
it.
went on to win.
Yeah, well, in that case, it's fine because you won.
True.
Because I prefer...
I've heard a lot about that. People talk it's, what's it called? Results-based analysis? Something?
Yeah. No, but you said the other thing. It wasn't that. Results-based analysis.
Outcome-focused assessment.
Yeah, outcome-focused assessment is what I was told is the right thing to do.
If it wins, it's good.
Yeah.
You're looking at the outcome, what happened.
But results-based analysis is really bad.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Outcome-focused assessment, so that's great.
Yeah.
It's the modern era.
So we have to first pick the Nidalee for us to be happy about it. In this case, it's not quite doing what it says on the tin. However, there was a little bit of a kerfuffle there in the tri-brush. Nothing really happened. But Bro are now, you know, back within touching distance, I guess, of the gold. You can see about 100 apiece in the mid lane. A large amount of it is the fact that YoungJay was able to take a couple of extra camps as Morgan puts a circle around himself. Frog, much longer cooldown to put circle around yourself. That's why Udyr is just objectively better than Renekton.
Can't do as consistently.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty low now, and as you said, the Bramble Vest makes a big difference, but I don't think anything's going to come from it, really.
No.
See Void Grubs spawning up again on the top side. Bro may want to look to deny this, but it looks like both teams kind of converging on the top side. But Bro have left their 80 carry bot, so DRX could have the edge.
Yep, Karas just trying to clear the wave as best he can. Polo moving on over. Spear connects onto Pleta, but he is looking for an engage angle. They do find the chain CC onto Polo, who will have to flash to get himself out of the way. There's the ulti, tanked by Karas as Polo is going to get taken down. A beautiful shove. And Sponge going to be able to collect another one. Yeah, Taliyah jungle, maybe it's just broken.
You know, this just brings me back to Pleta's ball at the start of the day. What he said, he wants people...
Justice for supports.
I love how Karas is like, I'll block for you. And then like, after 2 shots, he's like, nah, bro, you're on your own.
Yeah. And even then, probably wouldn't have saved him, but it was still sad.
Yeah,
as
tragic.
we saw it.
Rest in peace, Polu.
Indeed. Oh, man.
Yeah, we can see gold-wise, it's that Taliyah with 2 kills in the belt that has the big edge.
All right, Samba. Let's see how this one all went. As the arrow, it did get the flash out of Yehu.
Yep. And then we'll see the follow-up play. And I think this is the thing, is Bro felt like they'll be strong on this side of the map. They assumed that the Jhin would be going bot side, but DRX know they have the extra member. And not only that, it's a Jhin who's so good in these setups where he doesn't even need to be near. Just pop the ult. Pop the W first off of the CC, follow it up, and Polo unable to escape this artillery coming down on him.
Yeah. Not many options.
You know, and I joked about Karas getting away. I think if he stayed, he might have just died himself. So
Indeed.
Definitely the right call. Undoubtedly, Polu probably said, "Get out of here, bro."
Well,
kind.
You know what our feedback was for Bro? They didn't take enough dragons. Do you know what they've done? They've taken all the dragons.
They have done that.
So to be honest, I think it's actually a huge win here for Bro. Even though everything else is a disaster and it's on fire, they've got all the dragons.
An Infernal Soul as well. I mean, between like a Jhin or a Hui or a Nidalee, all these champions would love that. So definitely something DRX need to look at for that. Udyr does, he would do more damage, yes.
Aha.
That would happen.
I knew it. Karas picking up this wave. We'll be pretty happy. Heading back home now. See whether he can complete item number 1. Trinity Force probably on the way. And we don't quite have a Lich Bane yet for YoungJay. But, you know, Morgan getting some items together. 1.5 already done. And, yeah, it's a Hex Tech cookie. that Young Jay's picked up, but he's getting closer.
Yeah, I mean, Morgan built Unending Despair, partially because it's a good item, and the
Partially
other reason...
because that's how he's feeling.
Not getting the play Renekton. This is just the mood he's in.
I actually like it because now we've got Unending Despair on one side and Spiraling Despair on the other.
Yeah.
And that just makes me confused. As look at that. Look at that. There's no despair there because he just doesn't take any damage. How is that despair? Beautiful.
It's on the inside.
Sometimes you just can't see it.
Yeah.
As Bro setting up towards the top side of the map. They haven't got any of these grubs. They need to try and keep DRX away from their turrets. It's going to be important. But you can see DRX still, once again, having a lot of control in the long range. That's largely to do with Yehu. Yehu, actually, even last season, had some really good Hui games.
Yep. And I feel like as well, like the only person who can rely, like obviously you can throw an Ash Shower out, but people can block that. If Leona gets on someone, great. But it's not, Leona doesn't have as reliable long-range engage as the Nautilus, you know? Throwing your ult out, it can be hard to hit with the center, and also it can be countered by things like Cleanse, or even just Flash. Like, that's the thing with Nautilus ult, you can flash it, but you'll still get knocked up.
Yep.
So we're going to be cut out for Polo in this one to really be finding the lockdown so everything can follow up here. And if DRX stay at range, they're definitely favored. It's not poke Corki anymore. It's I have to actually auto-attack Corki.
See whether Karis can actually reliably do that. Does have his Pahage now completed, but wasn't actually up to getting towards any Trinity Forces or anything like that just yet. Sponge managed to get himself the Rift Herald also, as Raptor's going to be next on the menu. You can see him just hoovering up this jungle very, very quickly. There is Triforce done. So Karis at least to spike number 1. The Hex Drinker certainly taking a little bit of time away from it. So Bro looking for an opportunity, a way to get some tempo back in this game. And Pleta especially looking to not let them, just to find more of these great engages where the follow-up has definitely improved.
I think the next one's likely going to be this Dragon. And I think if you get a big ult combo on anyone, I mean, even if you get on top of Polu, like the damage from DRX, you can cut through him. You know, maybe a counter engage could be problematic, but I think DRX don't necessarily have bad targets they can go on. They just have better and worse targets, you know. But I think even if they get on Morgan in the right spot, they can burst through him. Like, there is so much damage between these two Blackfire torches on the side of DRX. Slayer obviously shreds. They are starting to get more and more as the game goes on, so will be a difficult one for Bro. They can just give up an Infernal Dragon. It's not a huge issue if they let it go, but obviously it's a big win con that you want to try and stack up.
Bit of owie there, as Morgan taking a bit of poke damage from Yehu. Just trying to keep the minion wave away from his turret. Will be able to do that at least successfully. Looks like Pleta not looking for anything up there, although it does cancel it back. See whether he does complete this one. As Rocket's flying in, Karis just wanted to take down this turret. Frog will not let him as he tidies up the minion wave very, very nicely. So Bro, they are set up for the Drake that's going to be popping up in about 45 seconds. It's whether DRX can get themselves down there, especially if Morgan gets picked off right here. He is pretty tricksy. Doesn't have Flash, though, as we knew from the earlier First Blood, but he can run pretty fast. And Pleta unable to actually find the Magnet Storm at all, and therefore Morgan will be absolutely fine. So Bro, able to weather that part of the storm, and it is just going to be this outer turret taken down. It might be Soul Point traded for a whole lot of money from these structures on the top side of the map. And Bro, they haven't really reacted to any of these moves just yet. Looking to try and trade with an inner turret on the bottom side themselves. See whether that does work out, as now Polu has moved his way in here. But this inner is not long for the world. That will be taken out. So Bro lose 2 turrets in that exchange, and this Drake hasn't even been started. They get the cleanse out of Teddy, but that is about it.
Yeah, not really going to be in time to contest this Drake, I don't think. Actually, looks like they will make it. The wall over, the resets, the TP coming in. They're going to make it in time. Now, they don't have vision set up. That's the important thing. They're into a poke-heavy comp, and because they're late, the vision is in Bro's favor, so they really have to be careful approaching. If they get chunked out, they won't stand a chance.
So Karis finishes off his Merc Treads and does have teleport to get himself back in here as well. Morgan clearing out the mid-wave as best he can. He can run real fast, as we just learnt, so he can get into this fight if he needs to. This one feeling like a very important one. Bro grouped up together. Let's see whether any of these engages are going to connect. Morgan wanting to keep his health bar a little bit higher so that he can be that front line, be that tank for the team. The threaded volleys starting to hurt though. As the Drake going down low, Pleta moving in, Frog precasts the Dominus, finds Samver here who has to flash and cleanse to get out of the way of this one. Pleta keeping the Dragon concerned, but he might actually have to get out of there. You can see Morgan just trying to coax him over the wall, and the curtain call is now going to be fired through. Teddy just free hitting his Frog, keeps the vision alive, but he goes down so incredibly low. This Dragon is just ignored. It is so confusing that it's standing there right in the middle, but bro, they will be able to get that soul point in the end. What a very weird series of events in the end, but I think Bro came out ahead.
I mean, they got the Dragon, and ultimately that puts them one away from Soul. Big advantage there, but it's such a weird setup that once again the team who has control of the game, who has the gold lead, is losing in Dragons. Kind of a flip from game one, which, you know, obviously Bro managed to win, but the gold lead isn't as severe for DRX right now, and they're set up for that. It's like, you know, they try to have the cake and eat it too. They wanted to get the 2 towers top and also contest. It just didn't end up paying off. Very hard to force their way into the Dragon there, especially when you just don't have the vision set up and you have this precarious backline you need to protect.
Yeah. Young Jay's flash is on cooldown.
Oh yeah, he was around the Baron pit and he got hit by Sponge, and then Jin W was going to root him.
Ah, okay.
And he managed to flash away.
I appreciate you letting me know. I was obviously just not paying attention to a little bit of a flash away there, so that might be important. It also might not. We can see at the top of our screen, 14 seconds until the Baron is going to be spawning for the first time this game. So we tick towards 20 minutes, and it is 4 minutes until that potential Infernal Soul for Bro. Not quite the same as Hextech Soul. Feels like Hextech Soul is probably the most impactful.
Yep.
Mainly to do with that
and also,
slow.
we have seen that in this series, Dragon Soul's had a 0% win rate.
Yeah, it is not all that powerful, is it?
Yeah, did kind of backfire. We'll see if that happens again here. A lot of Beer's damage added on, but definitely DRX want to prevent that from happening. They're starting to establish control around the Baron, but not really in a position to do this anytime soon.
Yeah, Yahoo actually tanks about 3 Baron shots. Took a fair bit of damage there, as we can see. Frog now looking to close in onto Morgan, as down towards the bottom side is Yahoo. Walls are definitely a big deal for Morgan, but not if he walks past where they're going to be.
This is very risky.
He is very fast, isn't he, this Morgan character? Frog dives on top of him, and Morgan looks to be unfazed by the whole situation. And with Jungler towards bottom side, Bro did move towards his Baron. Look at the littering of wards. They weren't able to clear out that one. That is able to spot them. But still, they have so much vision available. Pleta knows exactly what's going on here. Yahoo actually closing in as well, as Polo in an unfortunate position. The rest of DRX are closing in. Polo doesn't have his flash available either, but the arrow is going to connect onto Teddy. It doesn't matter. Still Sponge locking down the kill onto this Leona, as Polo was just, yeah, wrong place, wrong time, and not able to clear out that ward. So pivotal.
Yep, good moves from DRX there. They managed to push back in and regain control. The bot play a little bit ambitious, trying to collapse on the Udyr. Opening up.
Curtain going to be called here. Is Samba going to have to try and sidestep that one? Morgan just going to boop him. There it is. Was it a bait? It wasn't, because Morgan runs real quick and gets himself out of there. Magnet Storm going to be invested, though. Okay, never mind. They have a lot of long-range damage. Morgan has some shielding, has some running, but he is eventually going to go down. Karis doing a fair bit of work to Yahoo, but still not going to save them there. That big one actually starting to hurt, as Bro just lose yet another, and it's just pick after pick that DRX are able to land. And that might be enough to get them an actually decent lead in this game. It's now ticking up just over 2,000.
Yeah, they managed to pick up this bot tower as well. Not nearly as substantial as the lead in last game.
Look at the wards around Baron.
Yeah, there's so
And yet
many.
they got caught around Baron.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of the problem is the follow-up. You know, all Pleta has to do is walk up and hit Polu once. And you have the potential for the Weaver's Wall. You have the potential for the Jin route, the Jin ult. Obviously, the Hui can use his Q and hit from miles away. And now Samver in trouble.
Yeah, gonna have to walk really far away from this outer turret. That is going to be taken down. That is the entire outer ring. Inner turret on the top side also taken out. 4-1.
Yeah.
The turret score here.
This is where it gets delicate, though, because what we typically see in a game state like this is DRX will commit vision and effort towards the Dragon, and Bro will just immediately go towards the Baron and try and drag them away.
Yeah. Unless Young Jay just gets caught out. He's trying to dash out of this one, but there was nowhere for him to go, and that is the jungler eviscerated. Dragon up in 25 seconds, and Bro gonna have to let that one go, and the Baron going to be the next thing, because look at this, Bro put all of this effort making sure they have all of this vision. It's likely to all just be removed.
I'm so glad that DRX did not rush the Baron, because it's something I could see a lot of our lower teams making the mistake of doing. Yes, taking down Nidalee means no smite, but it's such a risk, and it could give over soul to the enemy team if you did do it. Instead, they're going to take this tier 2 mid, and then they're going to back off and pick up the Dragon.
Yeah, really cute. Able to grab this one here. Polo looking for a re-engage, but DRX are already out of there. Should be able to head down towards the Dragon, lock that one in. Bro are back out onto the map, though. You can see Young Jay, he's trying to pounce his way through, and they could get towards the Baron and start that one up. Morgan with teleport in hand is able to move over from the bottom side of the map as well. And Young Jay is pouncing on in here. Morgan gets full information as to what's going on, but the smite is going to ring true. Yeah, that will be DRX locking that one down.
And now
Bro not able to get towards the Baron.
Yep, they've dragged them over here. You know, the Dragon was a little slow, but they bring them over to contest.
Arrow. Oh, no! Actually flashes into the arrow, and now Polu finds it, but he's so far forward. Zamva can't get in there, and Polu, unfortunately, just goes a little too far. Morgan looks for that opportunity. Teddy's going to cancel the curtains. But Bro, they lose their support. Justice for support. He was right.
But that was a VIP situation. DRX, the bodyguards just flood in to block any follow-up. Polu doesn't have the damage alone to take down Yehu there. The shielding comes through as well.
He was probably calling, package now, package now. And Karis was like, but it doesn't work anymore.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
What champ do you think I'm playing?
I left it in the van. Didn't quite work. As this was the pick to start it all off, and the tempo gain from DRX and the way they utilized it, absolutely beautiful in this moment.
Yeah, doing a great job of chaining picks together and getting that value. This was just raw panic from Yehu, though. Recalling on a ward, flashes into it. So you see here, Polo goes in, a rocket does connect, the spear's blocked, and then the shield he self-casts to make sure he doesn't go down to the ignite or any of the Leona damage. And then Morgan, a little bit sneaky, doesn't find anything, though. But he does stop the Jingle, which means that Karis can get away safely. But ultimately, DRX happy with how that played out. They got a significant lead now. They are in a good spot, and they are 5 turrets to 1. Everything's gone in their favor, but they still have that Dragon deficit. So any mistake could be pretty critical and give an opportunity for Bro to get that soul.
See whether Bro can actually find that angle. It's the one thing they've got going for them. Right now, it's looking like blue side is just completely overpowered in this particular series. Kind of ridiculous how both games have gone very similar. There's a solar flare. Here's the opportunity for Bro. Never mind. Polu, once again, not a lot of follow-up for these engages that he's trying to start. This does manage to at least get them out of there, but it just wasn't anything they could do.
Part of the issue, Morgan was already getting focused down. Polu can ult, but if he goes in, he's probably just going to die. The rest of the comp is mostly poke-based, you know? I mean, Karis can try and dash in and auto. He'll probably just go down. Like, you'll throw a Nidalee spear, someone will block it. It's just a bit of the issue that Bro's having at the moment. They don't have that long-range reliable engage, and when they even find an engage from Polu, they don't have the follow-up to really make it work.
And Morgan now has his Caning Brooklyn now completed. Hasn't decided to build into any armor whatsoever, just wants to try and survive against Sponge and Yehu, especially with the fact that they are the ones that seem to be poking him.
So he's got a bit there.
Yeah, true. Oh, that's true, that's true.
But he's definitely got a lot of ammo. And the thing is, that's justified, because the Talia is doing so much damage to him at this point. And the problem is, though, is that Pleda can actually break the Canik shield with his Q. So if he's out of position and they want to pick him, just Q, break the Canik shield, and then follow up with a CC chain.
I would like to see that. See whether Pleda can find an angle like that, because Morgan, I mean, we haven't really seen too much value come out of Udyrs just in general, but the fact that you can run around and sort of boot DRX out of what they want to do is certainly something that they could work on.
Yeah.
And Morgan is sort of their frontline option.
Morgan is sort of there.
Yeah, he's sort of there. It's Udyr in general. He's just sort of there, and he runs quick, and he's a bit frustrating.
He's hanging around.
Yep.
Now trying to set up vision around the Baron here. Will be a reset coming out from Pleda to get some wards. Now Warmogs has been finished, that extra movement speed when you're out of combat, and also able to shake off that poke. Rapid fire cannon comes in for Teddy. Hasn't gone for the LDR, so not going to do as much damage to this Udyr, but to be honest, I don't think that's really an issue right now.
Yep.
The long-ranged auto definitely will pay dividends if you can connect onto a squishy target.
Karis getting closer and closer towards the Infinity Edge. Wants to get that one online as soon as possible.
Yeah, went for the full Maw, so
Yeah.
the problem is you're going to be 3 items with an Infinity Edge with 25% crit. You know, a decent amount of AD, but
better
not
players
sold on
crit
it.
more. You know that, right?
True. You know, if he just crits all of his autos, then why does he need more crit chance?
Yeah, just
high roll.
As Teddy is going to be able to stun Morgan. Morgan cares about Zero. And is going to switch forms and stuff like that. And Teddy's like, yeah, LDR could be good.
This is the thing that always annoyed me about Kenny Rukin, and we haven't seen it for a while. It's not been as popular recently. But you can never tell how much physical damage has been done to them until they've lost the amount of health the shield covers. Because, like, Morgan went under full HP, but you don't know by how much.
Yeah. And he's got his own shield that he can put on as well, so it's even more confusing. Well, now he's going to get shoved back, and now he's taking real damage. Spiraling Despair going to come on through there. He is still able to survive for a really long time, just sidesteps, but it then explodes. And Bro now have to deal with these curtains that are being called by Teddy, and you can see Sponge getting on in there. This is possibly an over-aggression, but yeah, who's able to take down Polu? Bro with the left, the three of them that are remaining are just gonna get magnetized together by a Pleta that really wants some revenge, and that is just the ace. It's the wipe, and Bro can't get a kill this game, and I think it's over.
I think that might just be game here, and beautiful, the Q flash from Pleta there to predict their flashes. DRX, the composition works, they managed to find Bro, catch them out. Morgan isn't tanky enough, and honestly, just a great performance, a great bounce back. And the lesson here, don't pick Nidalee.
Don't pick Nidalee and pick Taliyah. And Bro knew that. They wrote the script. They're the ones that won with it. And then they decide that they'll give it over to DRX, and DRX show them that they can definitely punish. Beautifully played. And Frog also, his summer debut, going to be picking up a win here. Very, very nicely done. So, bringing us to a game number 3. KT unfortunately couldn't do it, but thankfully we had DRX here to make sure that we got there.
Yep, and I feel like it's going to be a difficult readjustment. I mean, obviously, it's now going back over to Bro for side selection.
Yep.
But it feels like there have been some pitfalls in this series. It feels like the simpler you make a composition, the better it works. But even then, I don't think the composition of DRX there was like, oh, this is super straightforward. I think they just really handled it well. You know, they had the artillery follow-up whenever the engage went in. And I think that's the main thing, is if you're going to go for an engage comp, follow-up is really key. In game 1, Bro had things like the Kai'Sa, and here it was the potential for the Taliyah, it was the Jhin, it was the Hwei, all being able to connect on a CC target. And it just felt like a very controlled game, and it just ended so quickly on the back of those series of picks.
Indeed. About 30 minutes, and Bro just didn't really manage to do anything, right? Like 0, 12, and 0. And ever since that first blood, they were never able to find any sort of tempo in their advantage outside of a few dragons. What they're going to learn is the dragons are absolutely overrated. We're going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space will break it down. We'll see you for the final game of the day.
야, 어디로? 오케이. 아, 살짝 불만하자. 달려. 야, 얘 궁 없어, 그걸 박게 일단 그럼. 야, 이거 쪼이자. 쓸만해. 레오나 노플. 얘들아, 레오나 볼래? 레오나 봐야 돼. 야, 달려. 막았어, 달려. 각 좋다. 맞아. 다 노플. 나 앞으로 갈게. 야 그렇게 높여. 아무것도 없어. 그렇게 봐. 그렇게 높여. 근데. 아 천천히 일단. 이거야. 밑에. 아 이거 맞아. 바텀에 어디가? 어디가?
8 series?
Yeah, something like that.
It
was
Oh, I thought you knew the answer. I thought you like, do you know
No,
what?
I didn't.
I was like, do you know how long? Because I know how, I looked it up. I know how long. No, you just.
I only ask questions I actually want to know the answer.
Oh, that's fair. You know, I thought you were doing like a little performative thing for everyone.
No.
Well, I'm sure people at home will look it up and they'll know if we were.
I mean, I could look it up, but I
like
prefer
it
the
the
mystery.
mystery.
Yeah. It's good. It's better this way. As we do have Skana banned once again on the blue side. Last time around, we did see exactly these bans coming out from Bro. We do have a slight change up as the center is actually taken by DRX this time. So Bro can ban something else.
And I
think first pick Talia probably is the right call.
I feel like this is a draft where we're racing. Who could pick Nidalee and lose the fastest?
Ah.
You know? That's the game. The game is afoot. And we'll see who ends up managing to lock that one in. Obviously, wouldn't be ideal.
Maybe you ban Nidalee to stop Sponge from picking it.
Yeah, but then you stop Young J from picking it.
Oh, true.
I'm gonna ban the Rumble. Will Beyond first pick Nidalee? That would really be something.
Are we first picking Renekton for Morgan just because he wants to?
That would be the most okay man Breon move you could do right now.
Yeah. Look at him just casually.
I can imagine the coach is like, okay, I think we're gonna lock Talia, and Morgan just locks Renekton. He's like, I don't care.
Well, the Tristana first pick worked out very well for them in game number one.
They did get left open. They won't get the Renekton though, and they won't get Talia. Tristana's very strong. No denial on that, but a lot of trade-off in return that DRX gets, a lot of power given over. Now we're going to see what Breon will round things out with on that 2 and 3. Could look towards the bot lane. Obviously, a lot of things banned away already. Could go for that Corki bot lane again. Jin's obviously been an option.
Where's my Zyra jungle? It's
Lilia
nowhere, but Talia, Lilia is coming in instead. So that's a bit of fun.
Oh,
Vayne
Morgan's
is
gonna
being
go
hovered.
Vayne top.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Frog is like, oh.
Well, it's now 21-4 in favor of Camille.
Yeah.
If he
I'm
does lock
sure
this in.
that Morgan is thinking about that statistic as he hovers it.
Yeah.
No, I'll speak Asante. And I feel like Asante has struggled into Slayer just generally because the ability to shut down your dashing and actually cut through him is something that most champions don't have. Looks like it's going to be that Talia jungle, and we'll get the Corki. I expect it to be mid. It could be Corki bot. It could be Talia mid. I think it makes more sense to put the Corki mid and the Talia in the jungle and save your 80 carry pick. We'll see how that pans out. Next rotation of bans. It could be the Tristana bot lane. A lot of flexes on the cards, but I think you assume it's going to be Tristana mid, and they ban away the Varus, which Envy was heavily picking last season.
Certainly one of his all-time favorites. Envy does love himself some Zeri as well, as we remember. We have seen her already picked up, but has been a bit more of a fringe option as Lucian to be banned away here. Teddy, of course, one of his previous favorites, and you can see him extraordinarily vocal. Almost looks a little bit like he's singing to me. I don't know. Wonder what song it was. He was probably more just communicating to his teammates about things to ban. As there is a rel, banned by DRX, which is Quite interesting.
Yeah, and
Letter had such a good game on it.
He's been playing it very well. Both games, I feel. Even the game they lost, I think he was playing it well. But taking that one away, Ziggs will be banned, so no Ziggs Leona going to be out coming out, which is heavily favored by the LPL. Kai'Sa going to come through, so could just go Nort on 5, but the ability to flex that support pick depending on what Breon takes. So obviously Kai'Sa Nort very strong, but if Breon go Nort or go something else, you could take a different pick into it. It looks like Envy might just be going for that Jhin, which has been pretty successful.
Yeah.
From what we've seen of it this summer.
And as we heard from the space, just more CC is good. Abilities to set up stuff and allow Tristana to free fire is a good idea. That is Leona. Locked in once again for Polo. Didn't have the greatest time in game number 2, but we'll see whether he can get a turnaround here. And with a different composition, certainly could be helping out here. They could, in fact, pick Jhin Leona, and that would be the bottom lane that Damwon chose as their 2020 skins. So that's kind of cool. That is exactly what they're going to lock in. Nautilus makes his way all the way through the draft, and Pletter is allowed to play it if you would like.
Yep, and I think it makes sense to pair it with the Kai'Sa. The Leona matchup is tricky. If you get in melee range with Leona, she does kind of mangle you. but when she Zenith Blades, you can actually Q her, and it separates you and puts you at a distance far enough apart that she can't stun you. So you kind of play defensively in that way. Not ideal when you're paired with a Kai'Sa. So we'll see how Pleta ends up playing out the bot lane. Definitely in the 2v2, it's more favored towards the Jhin Leona, but a lot of dive potential when it comes to the team fights. And you know what? I think overall this is a complete success. No Nidalee from either side.
Yeah.
Didn't even need to ban it.
I love that part. I don't love the fact that Brion gave over the Renekton Talia that has been very, very powerful so far. And that is something that DRX can now utilize in this game number 3. And we'll see whether that is going to be a pivotal part of this particular game. But it does certainly feel like things have evened out just a little bit. I am a huge fan of Lilia just in general. I think she's fantastic. Runs real fast and spins around and throws bowling balls. And that is really cool. And so I'm looking forward to seeing whether Youngjae can put everyone to sleep and make things happen for his team.
Yep, and it's really powerful as well. Like if you have Jhin and the kind of similar to the last composition where we had the likes of the Hui and the Jhin. Here with the Lily and the Jhin, if you land a bowling ball, the follow-up is there.
Yeah.
No matter where they are. Like someone can block, sure, but they have to block because if you're isolated, you're going down.
Well, looking forward to seeing whether they can actually make it work out here as DRX. Much more keep it simple composition, much like they had in game number 2. See whether it works out here in game number 3 as well. Let's dive onto the Rift for the final game of the day.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
I have to say, even the bro fan chants sound wholesome to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've been analyzing fan chants so much today, but
do the other fan chants not sound wholesome?
I just feel like the bro fan chants have an extra air of wholesomeness.
Okay.
Like a KT fan chant has that air of, you know, desperation.
Yeah.
There are a few fan chants that are a little bit different. But I feel like the bro ones, it's like, we don't even care if you win, we just want you to have a good time. They're those kind of fan chants, you know?
Yeah.
Similar to a Nongshim fan chant.
It feels like, do you feel like it maintains it no matter like, oh, they've just lost a game?
Absolutely.
We support them. We just want to still, you know, they're happy.
The outcome of a bro series doesn't affect a bro fan in any way.
They're just having a good time.
Yep. It's the existence of the bros that matters.
Yeah. They'll win worlds and they'll be like, yeah, it's another good day to be a bro fan.
Yeah, they'll be like, Brion fighting. As, all right, we've got a hook almost connecting there from Pleta. But in the end, it is just a lost trade. So that's a bit sad. Yeah,
nice dodge away there from Karis. Does avoid probably really having a rough spot in the lane if you did have that connect onto you. Notice obviously a lot of upfront damage with the dredge line and then that powered auto. We do see in the bot lane, a minion did die, a melee minion. So Pleta and Teddy, I'm not sure if Teddy got level 2. Sorry, got the experience from the minion, so he'll be able to get level 2 early, but Pleta's definitely going to be behind in experience.
Yeah, Pleta now going to be giving up a little bit of space. Didn't have Aftershock for a bit. Bone plating also falling down. And going to sort of cede the control of the lane.
I love how he
picked up.
Immediately walked from lane and just queued Polu. When the little chain just walked off like, yeah, and what?
Yeah. He's like, I don't even care about my passive. I don't even want to stun you. Like, this is the message I'm sending. I will hit a hook.
Yep. He had to redeem himself in the mid lane play.
Precisely. He's just proving that he can land it.
He's calibrating.
Hey, it worked out. He only needed one miss in order to calibrate correctly.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. Kind of wish that my Switch Joy-Cons would do the same thing, you know? As, okay.
Drift?
Yeah, bit of drift. I've had to buy a few new ones, I'm not going to lie. All right, Yahoo able to clear out this wave here as Karis. Pretty happy to have that one pushing towards him. He will be behind a couple of minions, I think, as lanes reset. But I don't think anyone's too worried about it. In the jungle, Sponge continuing to really rifle through. Clearing his last camp now before he looks towards the scuttles. And that's similar can be said here for Youngjae, who just took a little bit longer on his red buff. Having a look now, moving on over. Morgan pretty happily underneath his turret, so probably not at the risk of a dive or anything like that at level 3 as the Cassante.
He resisted the unstoppable urge just to fist fight constantly top lane and get low enough health that you're diveable, which, you know, credit to him. Not many top laners can actually avoid doing that.
It's not a trait that most top laners have. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And we love them for it.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's a trait Morgan has. He's just this one game decided he's going to do it.
Yeah. Sponge actually considering an opportunity here because Frog just had a pretty nice trade, but he's going to go back home now. Should have some camps coming up relatively soon.
And you know, Frog's been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Solid performance so far in both. I mean, obviously it's very early in this game, but the first game he had was solid and starting laning off well in this one, so hopefully he can keep that momentum up.
Yep, the Renekton certainly working out for him. It feels like whenever there's Renekton picked and Morgan's in the game, it's a pick away. But Frog, of course, a very practiced Renekton player himself, so very happy to be playing it. In fact, if you're a top laner in the LCK,
yeah, I was about
it's
to
sort of
say,
like the Lee Sin thing, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, so we have Rascal, he's a veteran Renekton player. We have Frog, who's a less veteran Renekton player, and we have Morgan, who is the lord of Renekton players.
Player,
yeah, it's just, we have every variation. The 3 generations of Renekton players.
And I like in game 1, they were using Marin's Renekton skin, who was the previous Renekton player.
Yeah, it goes all the way back.
Just turns out that the Crocodile has been a favorite for everyone.
Yeah, Renekton all the way down.
Across time. And did we like it more when it was like Renekton Shyvana every game, or did we like it more when it was like Cassante X every game? You know, that's what I'm trying to work out. Did I like the previous top lane meta of like Mundo Shyvana, like back in the day, and stuff like that? Or do I like this more? Is it like Renekton every game? Is that what we hate the most? I don't know. I feel like there's a bit more variation now, maybe?
Well, the thing is as well, you think like, okay, so let's say we get something new and different. TF. I don't like TF, you know?
Yeah.
So, do we just hate top lane?
Yeah, maybe it's just top lane's fault.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I take that back, because I guarantee if we had like Malphite vs Sion, we'd be vibing right now.
We would.
We'd be loving it.
We do like Yep Rock. We are big fans of that.
Yeah. And then just going head to head constantly, just bashing against each other, getting grasp stacks. God, it'd be so fun. I would message Keystone and be like, please, only watch top lane for the whole game.
I know, it's sort of like, it's like Cookie Clicker, you know? It's that kind of dopamine. It's just number goes up.
Yeah.
You know, you're just watching grasp stacks over and over again. And you don't, it doesn't even matter which team you're a fan of because you just like grasp stacks going up.
Exactly. As long as no one's grasp stack like fades away without them getting it, you don't care about the outcome of the game.
It's beautiful. Sponge going to be taking down some more grubs here. Managed to get 6 in game number 2. And is looking to try and replicate that here in game 3. DRX with a slight gold advantage, but nothing really to write home about. But they also have the first dragon. And often you do have to sacrifice some tempo in order to do that. This time they're able to take that. And they're able to take the 3 grubs.
And it's a Chemtech first dragon again, so like, once more, decent chance of having a strong soul.
Oh, it is 100% Chemtech, Cloud, and then
Ocean.
It'll be Ocean. Umpty was the last one to get a win, just under a year when he played it against Peanut on Gen G. And in fact, was that that amazing game where like Bro managed to like just beat Gen G out of nowhere?
Yeah, it must have been.
That was it. Picks the Talia,
channeling
the Lilia, and makes it work.
You know, maybe Young Jay's never played Lilia before, and Morgan just goes, just pick it, trust me.
I remember when the General did this. It was glorious. Please, just do it again. You're a jungler, right? He's like, okay, what do the buttons do? One's a bowling ball. It's really fun. You spin around a bit.
Yeah.
He runs fast.
That's all there is to it.
That's all you really... And one's called Watch Out Eat, and it's really annoying for play-by-play commentators.
Yeah. Doesn't really roll off the tongue.
It does not quite.
It also does insane damage.
It does. It is very silly. Nice little hook there going to connect onto Ambi, who does flash. Seismic Shove going to miss. That is going to get under a 6, I think, from the gentleman on the space.
Yeah, didn't quite have the follow-up in time. Flash from Envy is big if they can follow up on it, but yeah, Sponge trades his summoner for it in return, so neutral overall in terms of summoners, but it's about finding opportunity to punish Envy, and Planet is approaching level 6, so that's the window you're looking for.
Morgan hitting some buttons here as he chases after Frog. Frog nullifies all of his efforts by pressing Q.
I feel like any time like Cassante dashes in on you, I'm always thinking, is he just going to CC chain Frog for the next 7 seconds and one-shot him?
Yeah.
And then Morgan's like, no, I'm not feeling it.
Not this time. He could have, though. We know that he could have.
That's what the champ does.
I don't know why these pro players don't just decide to kill them more often, though. Isn't it a bit weird sometimes? Like, obviously we know that he can.
It's because if they do, Cassante will immediately get nerfed in the ground. And the reason he survives for so long is because they hold back.
Yep, it's David Turley protection. That's what they're doing.
It's an agreement. All the top laners get into a group call together. And they're like, guys, this is how many times a game you can do that. Any more, in the dirt.
Yep.
I'm nipping into the dirt. And they're like, okay.
You guys don't want another Mundo meta, right? We need to keep this guy alive.
We got a
He's
quarter.
actually fun. As Frog playing dangerously close to the wall. Always a little bit scary here. But not too many opportunities. It does have his Talia waiting in the wings, so not too worried as he will slice his way out. So Miniwave in a difficult position to punish the Cassante, and therefore Morgan will be A-OK for the moment. Still behind by a little bit of farm, but nothing really to worry about. As Bro, just in general, behind a bit of gold. I think a lot of that to do with the fact that Sponge has been getting around his jungle quite nicely. But otherwise, not really too much as far as noticeable differences in where money's coming from.
Yeah, not a big takeaway so far. Next Dragon's up in 40 seconds. Grub spawning about the same time. We'll see if they opt to like cross over, so it's 3 for 3, or just pick up the same objectives again. Envy with no flash means that I feel like Bro playing towards Dragon might be a little risky. If a fight starts, Envy could easily be the focus target, and then momentum from there would be really strong. So perhaps maybe just playing towards the Grubs would be a better bet, but we'll see.
Yep, Torch now done here for Sponge as well. It's a pretty quick clip on that one. Youngjae on the way to it. Probably going to be able to grab that on his next reset. As we have a look at Bro making their way into the river. 5 seconds until this Drake has spawned bowling balls. Not really finding too much there. Not a gutter ball, but not a spare, you know.
Yeah.
As Teddy just clearing things out. And Bro will just get vision and then back away. Wait for DRX to make the first move. Haven't seen too much from him just yet after the flash does come through. But he's level 8, does have those curtains available.
A Sponge.
Okay, not sure about that one, Karis, as he's now looking for the buster shot. They are able to get in there. Oh, it almost kind of works. It's a 1-for-1 as Pleta flashes forward to get some knockups, and now Teddy dives in with the killer instinct. It's a double kill for the Corki. Polo gonna get hooked back. Yahoo has no mana, but he does have the ability to auto-attack, and that is what's helping out so far. Envy presses the barrier button, but look at this. Look at the amount of auto-attacking that's happening here. He cancels one of them. That is not exactly what you want. And now a curtain has been called. Teddy almost just in lethal range there, as you can see Envy looking for the opportunity, but does not quite get there. And he's able to wrap himself around. And it looks like Teddy might even be able... Oh, so close!
Doesn't even cancel the recall. Stone Cold.
Yeah, I don't think Envy even noticed that that happened. He was already in the shop, and he didn't even mind.
This was such a wild play. And the thing is, it's not really weird, because you're burning Karis' flash and he's dying. For the flashless Talia, Pleta comes in, gets a CC onto the Lily, who goes down pretty quickly. And then Polo does a good job of blocking the Dredge Slime from Pleta. But like, look at Pleta's health when he backs off. And then Teddy as well, also so low.
Yeah.
Could have been so much more. And then the thing is, Envy actually had tier 2 boots here, which is why Yahoo just isn't able to keep up with him and finish him off.
Yeah, also managed to get Fleet, I think, on that last auto as Polo's dead. And now Yahoo is on a killing spree.
You know what? Whether it's Vi or it's Nautilus, them and Talia just works.
Yeah.
It just works.
And what doesn't work so far is Polo's ability to stay alive on Leona so far this series.
And you know, it's one of these things where, like, you know how sometimes stuff works at like a pro level, but like it's high level and you have to do really complicated stuff and it's very nuanced and stuff.
Yep.
I feel like Vi, Talia, or Nautilus there, it would work as well in bronze as it would here. It's just,
oh yeah,
it's just solid. You just can't point and click, and then a big damage combo to follow up.
But I feel like no one would want to play the Talia because its name isn't like Yasuo or Yone.
That's true.
So it's a little bit harder to get that one to work out. Or Renekton. I don't know whether you see as much Renekton either. In my opinion, I'm always the one playing Renekton.
It's a different world down there.
It is. Speaking of Renekton, here he is on your screen right now.
To be fair, there is probably a top laner in bronze called MorganFan73 who
100%.
plays Renekton every single game.
Yep. Wait, have you? I thought I didn't add you yet. Anyway, Envy clearing things out. You can see very red as far as the gold advantages, and most of it in that mid lane. And Yahoo getting towards item spikes faster. I don't think we really need to tell you guys that that is a fantastic thing for DRX, as the Corki very reliant on getting to that point. Even if you are going the lethality version, the assassination version, you only need a couple of items. It feels a little bit better on 2 than it would otherwise. Some of these more long-term builds you can see.
And this Corki is going to be
big.
very scary. Well, this was one of these hit hook. You know what? I didn't see the play the first time round, and yet I knew what happened.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of proving exactly.
There was single target CC that connected, and then there was seismic shove, and he dead.
Yep, and he died for a ward, which is honestly justice for support.
Justice for
That's
supports,
all I gotta
please.
say.
Yeah. Glad I said it right. It was a cry for help.
You know, even if he wins
need
this
to listen.
series, he's gonna be hitting. He's hitting.
Well, Sponge spots Shelly making her way back towards the pit. I don't know whether he's going to start it back up just yet. Solar Flare going to get flashed there by Sponge. Nicely done. Still getting that summoner spell. Certainly high value here for Bro. And they need to get on the board. They managed to get a kill so far. That was in that skirmish that they lost pretty horrendously. Need to see some more out of them. Zemby just trying to take control of the mid lane. And the Rift Herald is on the minds of everyone. DRX going to pull it out of the pit.
Yeah,
Morgan is dashing.
Corki having prior top means I think Bro just back off on this one. It did reset actually. Oh, and a TP's coming in. They're going.
Yep, we're looking for it. As there it is, bowling ball comes out. Doesn't really find too much there. A seismic shove also not going to find the mark, and there goes Sponge. Pletty going to get pulled back as Teddy, what was that? Dives into the backline, finds the pickoff onto Polo, as now Frog trying to get out of there, but Teddy not going to be so lucky. And it's mid laners that are eating well tonight. It's a double kill for Karis off the back end of that play.
Yeah, really good move, capitalizing on that play. The lack of flash available on the Talia. And it looks like our scoreboard is experiencing a little bit of a delay. It is not currently 1-4 in kills, but we can see it's been not quite equalized, 4-5. DRX still ahead in terms of those, with the hell being picked up by Bro. Definitely a big win for them.
Yep, we're going to take away the scoreboard and then dive into the replay to see Polo finding the engage of his dreams.
Yeah, and Predator does what he can to try and keep him alive. Ends up having to flash out. Teddy goes for the kill. Burns everything getting it. And you can see it's like, oh, we'll try to find a kill and then disengage. Teddy isn't able to get out. Looked like it could have gone a little bit worse, maybe, if the Corki overextended further, but ends up paying out 5. And we have a little bit of a different scoreboard, the old school one.
Yep. Seen that one before.
Yeah.
And DRX still retaining a slight gold advantage, about 1.5k. You can see Bro much more kills than they got in game number 2. Like infinite more kills.
Yeah.
It's looking real good. So,
which, you know, I was just so ready for this game 3 to be like a close one, like a really, because, you know, even though game 1 was obviously much closer than the gold suggested, there was still like a 10k gold lead, and it was definitely a very weird game. Second game was a stomp. This one, you want it down to the wire. Just a fight, and
there's no Nidalee to skew it one way or the other.
There isn't. And Herald going to be used mid. Dragon is spawning soon. You can see from the minimap, although time is currently unavailable, unfortunately, due to technical issues. And
all right, Karis is going to be able to throw Shelly into the turret.
It's not the person I would choose to charge him, but, you know, Karis makes it work. So now they have control of the Dragon area. And Yahoo does have TP. Can come down and join if they want.
Yeah, or they could give it up. They do have the first couple of Drakes, but it's a Hex Tech. It is high value, as they know, even though they couldn't win. As that's the double shove that they were looking for. Still taking a while to get the kills, but finally Polu does go down. All out onto Frog, though, brings him towards this Dragon, as Morgan will be the one taking out Frog. So close to death, but will be able to survive. And Envy, nothing he can do to stop this one. That is Soul Point going over to DRX. And this time around, they're getting the Drakes and they're winning the fights.
Yeah, so beautifully played. The engage comes in, the follow-up's there, and the clear value is so big. This is the thing. Picks like Leona and Cassante, you feel almost invincible. But look at the damage, it just gets chunked into them on the back of this combo. The wall does a great job splitting the team. They look for the engage on a platter, but he's the one who dodges and re-engages. Both frontliners get mega chunked here. And then Envy, he pops his ult, and Frog does his job. He cancels it. He just comes over, says stop ulting, loses all of his health, and his job is done. Really nicely played by DRX there. And they managed to get another Dragon under their belts.
Yeah, and once again, the Talia value, absolutely gigantic. They managed to get some of those snares. And yeah, like you were saying, I mean, this Soul is ludicrously powerful. And we've mentioned that it is kind of win more in the past. We saw that it wasn't able to win from behind in the first game, but it is going to make things so tough for Bro.
It's one of these things where, like, you saw how much pressure there was in that game with a 10k goal deficit.
Yeah.
Like, how much of an impact. It really makes things difficult, because if you're out of position slightly, or you step too far forwards, or you're getting chased down, the slow is oppressive. And if you're at a deficit, I think it's just probably just kittens if DRX is able to secure that fourth one. So, Bro, they're in a deficit right now. They need to find a way to approach the next dragon and ensure that they secure it.
We'll just have to see whether the Bro levers will be rewarded. Is your faith getting tested? That is what I would like to know. Because Bro, of course, not out of it just yet.
Yeah, true Bro levers, as zen as ever.
Exactly, not even phased. And that's mainly because the outcome of the game is not relevant. But if it was, would they be zen? I think a true Bro lever would.
Yeah. They were like, this is all as planned.
Uh-huh.
This is all as planned.
And Envy able to clear out the wave very satisfyingly with the dancing grenade. And Bro just trying to get whatever vision they can find. Pings going down all over the place. Some of these bowling balls will need to connect. We saw the Lilting Lullaby not really do very much in the last fight. I think it managed to put Yehu to sleep and maybe Pleta. But it didn't really stop anything. There wasn't too much follow-up. So Young Jay probably wanting to find a little bit more of these options.
And you know, we see actually Envy going Infinity Edge first. So we've seen a lot of Collector first, but he's only got one item and a couple of components. Teddy's completed his first two. Yehu's completed his first two and just picked up a tower. The carries for DRX are getting really strong. And I think Envy's still a whiles away.
Oh, yeah. We saw with 3 items, the Jhin was absolutely terrifying in our first series. Leaper certainly looking really, really good on that one. This is going to be the other side of the Jhin, which is the one that I was far more used to seeing. Hasn't necessarily had as much success, but it does feel like the item changes certainly did help him feel a lot more relevant. We'll see whether it is going to be something that Envy can get towards. Now has augmented the build with another VF sword. So getting slowly but surely towards item number 2. And a bit more crit. Had that crit cloak, I think, already put together.
He already had that one, so not too far away. Still working on it. That's the problem. You know, you really want to be hitting these spikes as soon as possible, especially going towards that big dragon fight. You can see, who's going towards the LDR. Want to be able to cut through this bulky front line. And the thing is, I think that's how DRX can play it. They don't really need to get on the back line of Bro. We've seen time and time again, if they just use the power of the Talia, the damage from both of their AD carries, they can burn through even the Cassante.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this Cassante doesn't have very much magic resist right now. And with the Leandri's finish from Sponge, I don't think you're going to survive too long against the brunt of DRX's damage.
And Teddy going to find a little bit of damage there with the Acathian Rain, but too much more. And you can understand why you've got so much armor being stacked up on Morgan. It is only Sponge that's really going to be doing magic damage, but he's doing so much damage.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of nutty.
And as well, Teddy's going next item, Nash's most likely, so you're going to need to get him. The problem is you need another MRM third, and I don't think Morgan's going to get a third item, potentially even this game.
Yeah.
That's just a way of being a tank top laner.
And, oh, Polo going to deny a little bit of the pullback there by the Dredge line by just being in terrain. It's going to help him out there just momentarily. DRX just waiting patiently for this dragon to be back up again. Very, very soon that we do have that soul up and available for DRX. Bro, they have to fight for this one. Yeah, they have to win this team fight.
All summoners up right now. Everything available. All comes down to this.
Yeah, Pleta is going in. Morgan getting thrown around like a ragdoll and then just eviscerated. Look at this. The Crocodile slice and dice and getting the heck out of there. And now, Bro, they're trying to do the same thing, but Teddy says absolutely not. That's the triple kill. And they say, we do not need the Hextech Soul right now. You guys are dead. We'll take a Baron and we'll look to ruin your base.
They can get both. Honestly, they have the time to do it. They'll head straight over the Baron. They've got the DPS for this with the Talia. They'll get mid tower and they'll get Hextech Soul. This is everything DRX could hope for. The setup was good. They burned through that Cassante. Morgan didn't get to play the game and they are rewarded massively for it.
It's ridiculous. This kind of lead not something that we saw in game number 1. Very, very different as DRX able to get themselves the Soul and the Baron and the team fight and everything else.
Yeah, super decisive. Morgan did get a chance to even use his W to interrupt the CC coming out from Platter. The follow-up is there as well with the Weaver's Wall, with Teddy flying in. Only the Tristana survives.
So much of that to me comes down to Frog and how he manages to get in there, a gigantic Q onto everyone, and then they all had to scatter, and it was the perfect setup there for Teddy to make sure that he could get in with the Killer Instinct. Really
So it
nicely done.
begins. It is now the Nash's Tooth completed for the Kaiser, so triple evolve with the W refund, and with the fact that you have the Hextech solo as well. Thing is, like, if you auto, like if someone else procs it, or you auto a minion and the slow chains onto them, it's like a guaranteed W.
Yeah.
And I mean as in Kaiser W, not a guaranteed win, but also it's feeling like a guaranteed win right now for DRX. Bro in desperate straits.
Yep. I did assume that you meant Kaiser W there, and as you can see, it's also going to slow, do a bunch of damage, and be very annoying. Young Jay also doesn't have Zhonya's yet. I feel like Zhonya's is such an important item for Lilia. Some of the builds that we saw be very successful, even the one that Umpty used in their last victory on this champion, it was based on a more tanky version of the Lilia. And yeah, you can see that it hasn't really been as effective here for Young Jay. Even if it was able to get a little bit done in the early stages, Bro now certainly find their backs to the wall. As, all right, Pollux misses absolutely everything, and now we've got a base gate coming in. Morgan trying to find that opportunity, dashes forward, gets the all-out onto Frog, but Frog says, I don't mind if I do, as he dashes around. Once again, sacrifices his health bar, but once again, it is more kills to Teddy. And DRX are looking to break open the base.
Yep, they try and make an engage happen. It doesn't really work out. A good flash from Sponge, and then immediately Platter hunts down Envy. The follow-ups, oh, you can see Karis looking for the play.
Platter, what's that? He's like hex splashing in so that he can potentially also take the base gate because it's fun.
They're having a good time.
Yeah, they certainly are. As the inhibitor going to go down, mid inhibitor turret also going to fall. Don't know whether they're going to stick around to take down this inhib as well. Just going to play it safe.
Why risk it? You got Hextech Soul in the bag. You've already done so much damage. You can just reset, spend your gold. They'll have tons in pocket. You can see Teddy picked up a Seeker's Arm Guard. It's going to be even harder to punish him.
I just saw him in the cam as well. He's just like, jaw, which just means good. He's just having a good time. Certainly vibing with how this one's going. Happy Teddy, certainly something that's welcome here in the LCK.
Yeah, and I love Planet doesn't ult when like he's being dove in by Morgan. He just saves it. He sees the Jhin, flashes over and goes, yep, I'll take you. Teddy follows up. Nicely done. And this is the thing as well. You have to disengage so quickly. Fortunately, Bro had their base there. But if you're ever outside the base and you start getting chased down by the Hextech Soul, you ain't getting away. You either you have to win the fight straight up, or you're not escaping. It's so difficult to play against.
It was already difficult to play against this composition as well. They can't just keep you in position so long. Like Dredgeline after Dredgeline, Teddy chasing you down with the Killer Instinct that is so good for that tidy up. So it was already hard, and with Hextech Soul, like you say, it is virtually impossible. Oh my god! Wow. And with the amount of poke that they also have, really, really silly. So this inner turret, certainly not something that's defendable. Teddy in the mid lane, getting that push working out. So Bro, circling the drain right now. Of course, miracles can happen. They are possible. But I don't know whether one is happening today for Bro. It does look like this one
feels like a big ass.
Is DRX.
And you can see them trying to defend, but Super Minions pushing in bot. Mid won't be too much behind. Wall comes to cut them off. This could just be the tower taken.
Yep. And Pleta going to Hex Flash over the top of it. That is going to be the guarantee, though, on another inhibitor. And despite the Dredge line not landing, it does not matter, as DRX just need to follow these Super Minions as they head towards the Bro base.
And now you're trapped under your Nexus towers. Every time a minion gets hit, everyone's getting slowed.
Yep. And now we're probably going to start seeing Bro start petitioning for best of ones, because DRX, after losing the first game, coming back in back-to-back games afterwards, just really proving that not only are the drafts looking cleaner, But their tenacity on the Rift looking fantastic. As I say that, Sponge is going to get tidied up. Frog has to walk away from the bowling ball, and it's not going to be over just yet. So
yeah,
just hold that.
One,
I'll just have to repeat what I just said and just like the next time.
This was the rehearsal.
Yeah.
So you know,
and there are a few things that I'd like to adjust.
Yeah, you can tweak it. You know, I think Bro would like to tweak this game.
Ow.
The Corki, you know.
Do we just replay for Corki Rockets? Is that what we're
Here's
kind
the
of doing?
thing: is when we talk about Corki not being poke Corki, if it was the old Corki at this point, it would have just one-shot them. But even so, even with it being the new like AD autofocus Corki, it still does a ton of damage if you're this far ahead. And you can see Sponge just got left behind there. Unfortunately, the damage proc. I think it might be in the burn from the Lily or something, or Ignite, I don't know. But either way, stop the portal. But now, Baron's coming up and Elder's coming up. And bro, time is against them because there's double super minions in every lane. And that is very hard. And you can see, look, they're like, we need to be here. We need to contest Baron. Look at their base.
Yeah. And one Tristana may not be able to do it, but she also probably is one of the best champions to do it with her AoE and just general damage.
But Envy has to come back. Once they've got Baron, it's going to become even harder, and they can just play for... Oh, no.
Yeah, and now Young Jake going to have to break his arm guard here as the Weaver's Wall comes in, and that should be the last one. Kill goes over to Teddy, because of course it does, and Frog keeps the Baron busy. They'll move back towards it. That should be the guarantee, of course. Just kill the jungler, and then take the Baron. And that is absolutely everything here for DRX. In the meantime, the minions kind of winning the game for them.
Yep, and you have a choice here. You can just end with the Baron. Baron plus the super minions is going to end it. Or you can go for the Elder.
I think go for a reset, go for Elder, and then go for another reset to spend the gold that you just earned from Elder, and then you go
but then Baron's,
coming back up again.
Baron again.
So, yeah. And then you have to kill the inhibitors again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or you could just win the game right now, which is what they're looking at. Yeah. Curtain call coming on through, and Frog walks menacingly towards Envy, and Envy says, okay, sorry. And Morgan is just getting incidentally killed by DRX. The Nexus is just going to fall down. That is the triumphant Corki dying on the fountain, but it does not matter. Huge grins on the side of DRX, a very happy Teddy, as we said before. And DRX, despite what they looked like in game number 1, really huge turnaround moving into games 2 and 3. And I think Frog's position going to be pretty defendable moving into their next series.
Yeah, he looked solid, you know, and I think ultimately, yes, Bro are not the hardest opponent you're going to face, but considering the standings that DRX finished in, this is a big win for them. I think we should celebrate them for sure. There is still some things definitely they need to work on. Pace of that third game did feel very slow with given the advantages, but you can see it's clear they didn't want to rush things, they didn't want to overstep, they didn't want to have it backfire. And in the end, it was a controlled game, and I feel like they understood what they needed to do.
That's a happy Frog. Takes about Young Jay, unfortunately, after a phenomenal game 1, just wasn't able to get his hands on the Talia again. And this guy came in with back-to-back games saying, oh, yeah, Talia is pretty good. Let me give that one a shot. And it certainly worked out.
Yeah.
Nice work, Yahoo.
Oh, Sponge supporter?
I think that might be a Sponge supporter.
Yeah.
That's what I figured out. As Teddy saved all of his enthusiasm for in-game and has now run out. And Pleta saved the supports.
Yeah.
We appreciate you for your devout message.
Pleta won, DRX won, but the supports, they had it rough.
They had it rough. They definitely did. Thankfully, you as our resident support got that support vote in, at least.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm there to stand up for them.
Yeah. We needed someone.
It's a difficult job, you know.
And unfortunately, also as Coco, the only bro leaver not rewarded this time around, but there is always next time.
Yeah. You know, I think it was I'm honestly surprised, because even despite the fact that DRX came through clean, you could see that bro, the potential was there. The first game, the hopes were high.
Yeah.
But, you know, bro fans, they're happy regardless. They just got to see their team play, and that's all they're looking for.
Yep. I think Samvim also might deserve a bit more of a go as well. I don't think we saw too much of a difference between the bros with him and without him.
I feel like sometimes you get a change. Like, Rascal didn't have a good game 1, switched him for Frog. It definitely helped. Sometimes it's like, it kind of feels like a change for the sake of a change, which I get when you're in a situation like this, but I'm not sure really.
I mean, Frog looked absolutely fantastic on this Renekton, especially that particular engage right there. Had some big moments in this game. And we know that, you know, Renekton is a champion that can be difficult to navigate in later stages to find a lot of value. Like this here was largely Morgan giving the Renekton a lot of value as he gets all-outed right in there. But the fact that he's able to slip in and out of these fights so effectively is very impressive. As DRX just arguing over whether they should be going down the bottom lane or top lane. And I think all of the lanes is probably where they wanted to go in the end.
All of them together.
빨리지 마. 그냥 타워만 이거 그냥 버프만 줘.
근데 이거 한명 큰한테 끄는 거가 좀 괜찮아 보이는데?
나 3타 빠지면 한번 볼게 그러면 이번에. 그냥 레오나 끌게. 오케이.
It looks like the bottom lane doing actually all of the shot calling. Like Teddy and Pleta just yelling together.
Pleta is literally rap godding.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
straight up. It's also one of the most vocal times that I've ever seen Teddy at the same time. So pretty cool stuff. And DRX with their victory. We can almost call it a reverse sweep. And really nicely played. So DRX coming out 1-0. And of course, the battle is both of these two teams really struggled to get victories.
Yep.
So this one absolutely huge here in the summer season. We'll see whether DRX can keep that momentum rolling as we have a look at this. A lot of damage for the Corki. I was actually half expecting Teddy to be doing a little bit more, but as we can see here on the side of Bro, really not looking good.
Yep, it was a struggle. And unfortunately, we don't have the gold growth, I assume, because we had some technical difficulties. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty consistent, controlled game throughout. Felt like a very smooth curve. At no point did they really drop the ball. So credit to them.
Absolutely the cleanest game of the series as well. I actually feel like our spaces might have a game to break down, you know, things to talk about instead of just raiding seismic shoves. But I guess we'll just have to see as we throw it over to them now. Take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POG interview translation, joined by Sponge and Pleta on the side of DRX, who defeated OK Savings Bank Brion with a 2-1 score. Congratulations! What a great start for the summer. How do you feel to secure your first victory? We came here thinking we're going to win today. I feel like we didn't really perform as well. We underperformed, but despite that, I'm happy about the victory. And Pleta, I'm so... it's a lot more... I'm much happier that I'm able to secure a victory on the opening week. And Sponge, in the walkout performance, you declared jungle gap. You did so well today. Are you happy with how you did today? I feel like, yeah, in game 2, I was able to display some jungle gap. So I'm pretty happy about that. And Pleta, your written message was empower support rights. What did you mean by this? Before I joined the LCK, I played some different roles. And I feel like lately, supports, they need more support. I feel like we're able to empower support rights by playing well and being able to prove that supports can make a difference. And I feel like I have a lot more room for improvement for sure. And last spring's results might have left a lot to be desired, but we heard about how much hard work you put into this practicing this since the finals. So we feel like this summer is almost like last chance for us, and I feel like the rookies, including myself, we are pretty passionate and we're pretty fired up for this season. I feel like we have a lot of good people, a lot of talented players in our team. I think that's why we were able to start practice so early, and that's why we are so fired up. And we've been practicing since. And Sponge, the team that took Renekton and Talia won all games, and it seems like these two champions have pretty nice synergy. And after the defeat in Game 1, we noticed that you guys were blind picking these champions. So what were you trying to fix? I feel like we noticed how something that we were preparing didn't really go as well as planned in the actual game. So the coaching staff actually gave us proper feedback right away. So yeah, we believe that blind picking and taking these picks would let us win. And Clara, in Game 3, you demonstrated some great playmaking skills with Nautilus. And with the team's composition, what did you tell yourself your main job is? I feel like comp-wise, I was basically in charge of engaging and initiating. I feel like maybe I'm not the only one who should be engaging, but I try to engage as much as I can as a support. I knew that as long as I have confidence when I go in, that I would be able to play without regrets. So I think that's why I try to keep myself confident in game. And so do you think you executed it well? Yeah, I'm actually pretty confident with all the engaged champions this meta. And I think my coaching staff was able to give me really good direction regarding the champions that I'm really good at and I'm confident in. And for all the fans celebrating DRX's victory, would you like to let them know what your resolution is, Sponge? I do believe that we underperformed today, which leaves a lot to be desired, but because I believe that there is more room for improvement, I want to make sure that we could demonstrate our growth next time. And Clara, thank you so much for joining us and supporting us, even at these late hours. And I feel like today we weren't able to display everything that we got. But despite that, I'm really happy that we were able to win and that we are able to pull through. So I hope that you guys look forward to us being even more successful in the future. And that's the end of the interview from Sponge and Plata of DRX. And back to the space. Thank you.